stylist, hails from Duluth, where he played for Denfeld High when they were the power in the 1980s. High school teammates of both Congressman Pete and gold medal winning Olympic coach Rob Stauber. He left high school early, unheard of at the time, and had a standout career with the Austin Mavericks of the United States Hockey League. He played 4 years at Merrimack College and settled back to the Twin Cities, where he has lived in Lakeville and Edina. His daughter was a member of the state champion 2018 High School Hornets. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Brad Ace Atal.
All right. John Connolly here, high atop center ice. Beautiful Bloomington Ice Garden. We are here for the opener. I'm John Connolly, joined by Brad Atal. Brad, we just heard your bio. I really appreciate you coming out today and joining me up to announce this game.
Thanks for having me.
So it's a new season. We've got some fun stuff up ahead. We're going to go to a pregame show right now. This is Coach Shea of Cloquet. And when we get done with that, we'll talk a little bit about your conversation with the coaching staff from Lakeville North.
Just moments before the puck drop, I'm here with Shea Walters. Shea, we've talked a little bit in the lead up to the tournament. This is your first time as the head coach of a high school team. How about you? Do you have some butterflies?
Absolutely. Been kind of preparing for this kind of throughout the off season, and now it's finally here.
So you were an assistant in the program last year. You're familiar with the kids. You also talked about how you had some preseason jamboree, and maybe that changed your opinion on what you had and how you want to start out. Where do you stand in that process of settling things in for these first games?
The talent level's still there, but, we have good enough players where we can kind of mix and match and kind of find what gels. Obviously, that's what the jamborees are for, and, we're early on in the season, so looking forward to, finding those right combinations.
So you've got some returning players with a little bit of star power. We've got 2 games this weekend. It's a several-month-long season. But for people watching at home, what are some of the things that they should be looking for from this Cloquet Lumberjacks team?
A lot of speed. Coming through the neutral zone, we want to try to develop opportunities off the rush. That's going to be kind of our main focus. Puck possession once we get in the zone, and try to not spend that much time in our own zone.
Awesome. Well, good luck this weekend. Thanks, Shea.
Thank you.
So, Brad, we just heard from Coach Shea from Cloquet. It's his first game as a head coach. Got to be a lot of butterflies, not just for the kids, but the coach as well.
Well, it's always interesting at the start of any season. You always wonder what you got under the hood. And it's fun to watch the season start and evolve over, the 25, 30-game season. And I think with Lakeville, they feel comfortable. They got 2 solid goalies. And the fact that they seem to switch off with them, and a lot of it starts from the defense on out. They're always going to have some power up front. They like to move the puck, and obviously the speed game is always important as well.
Yeah, so you mentioned the 2 strong goalies, and we'll maybe get to this during the game. We're going to pause for the national anthem, and we'll be right back with more of our pregame show, followed by the puck drop. right, Brad. So this is the first game of the season for both teams. It's not so much how you start, it's how you finish. But after today, there's just going to be one game under the books, and these are going to be the impressions that shape a lot of the decisions as the coaches enter the first month of the season.
You know, they're obviously looking at what they have and who's going to work well with each other. You know, you'll probably see quick shifts initially for the fact they got to start building up those skating legs and stamina. You should see some puck movement, and I think both teams really need to establish a forecheck. That's where it all starts. Once you get your legs moving and the wheels in the offensive zone going, it seems to get at least things going.
This is a big game. Lakeville North, they were in the state tournament last year, have a lot returning. A few juniors are now seniors. They were big scorers for the team. And they had tons of sophomores that are now juniors with varsity experience at the state tournament level. Cloquet, on the other hand, they're in everybody's top 10. They do, however, face a battle in Section 7. A lot of people think that's the state's strongest section this year. So these are not teams that are cupboard bare. They have a lot returning, and it's going to be interesting to see how they get off to a quick start here. Want to mention a couple players as they line up. Spencer Schneider's on left wing for Lakeville North. He's committed to Bowling Green. He is their returner with the most points last year. And in the center spot, number 15 for Cloquet is Landon Langenbrunner. Those two are going to be two of the player profiles. You'll want to stick around between periods. We're going to have player profiles of them and others throughout the weekend. Griffin enters, goes wide. This one just misses and rings out to the neutral zone, sweeping in some of that neutral zone speed. This is sophomore Galatz. Galatz's pass goes just under the stick of Rasmussen, and now it's down behind the end line. Galatz out front, and Rasmussen, couple cracks at it, steered aside nicely by Mayer, and play continues. This one's just wide, and it's a chance for Cloquet to set up that early forecheck, Brad. You talked about everything stemming from the forecheck. They had a little zone time early in the first shift. Play continues and retreat. This is Munson. Munson's a sophomore with varsity experience. He was a ninth grader on last year's team. Oh, there's a broken twig right in the shaft. I looking at my line chart here, was it 8 or 18? Must have a wrong number here. I think that's Bender that went off with a broken stick early. Play resumes. Out to neutral zone. It's Shandorf. Gains the red line. Dumps this one in all the way down to the corner. And on retreat, this is Anderson. Anderson. Puck, couple passes quickly out, diagonally out to Moore, who gains the zone, dumps it down to the end wall, and Cloquet tries to set up that forecheck one more time.
Cloquet doing a nice job keeping the puck in. Their defense aren't falling off and pushing the play in the offensive zone.
Number 27 is Mason Langenbrunner. When I do announce games and have multiple players with this, the same surname, I'll try to use their first name. So 27 for Cloquet is Mason, and 15 is Landon. They are the Langenbrunner brothers, not twins. One is a sophomore, one is a senior. Zone time continues for Cloquet. This is Ketela. Pass doesn't connect, and it's a breakout opportunity working the other direction at Shandorf. Winds up onto the stick of Santiago, but he loses it as he enters the zone. My apologies, Brad. I had a wrong number here on my line chart, so we'll want to get that corrected for both of us, and we'll get back at it here. Early season jitters, not just for the players, also me and the announcing booth.
You know, Lakeville's just got to get control of the puck a little bit and play some D-to-D and move it up. They had everyone jammed on one side and should have pulled it out and regrouped and get a little puck possession going.
You know, if you're a jockey, you're always wondering, do you have a little bit where you can crack the whip and summon that horse to do a little bit more? I have a feeling these coaches from Lakeville are looking at the team the same way. While they may not know where their next goal is coming from, when they're in a pinch, I think they're going to lean on this top forward line. We had a chance to speak with part of the coaching staff before. Coach Ennebeck thinks this is as good as any line in the state, and it's top shelf Schneider. 1-0, almost on cue. Lakeville has the early lead.
He blew that one right by him. He picked his corner, went far side high, and I think he caught the goalie napping a little bit. And needless to say, he's got quite a shot.
It's funny, you know, when you watch a game, and this is, you know, I guess the Tony Romo got a lot of attention for this. You kind of have a feeling something might happen, and then it right on cue. My thought, as I was trying to verbalize it, is, you know, here's a team. Coaches just told us we have a line we think is as good as any in the state.
Yep.
You look at it on paper, Schneider returns 47 points in 30 games last year. On left wing, right side, Griffin, 39 points in 30 games. And they have a center that transferred in from Lakeville South.
That'd be Caden Smith. And, so he had some good numbers on the south side in Lakeville and up on the north side now. So, yeah, that's a solid line.
So that's a solid line, and it's it's early, just a couple shifts. But, you mentioned that they were having a little trouble getting on track, and they were pinned in their own zone, and the passes weren't connecting. And then boom goes the dynamite. It's a top shelf wrister, and Schneider puts Lakeville up 1-0 early. It probably was the first shot on goal.
It basically was.
I'm not tracking shots, but I don't seem to remember them even having any zone time. It seemed like any time they crossed the blue line, they lost possession. Breakout opportunity for Munson. He goes up the boards over on the left side to Ennebeck. Ennebeck can't quite exit, is stolen by Moore. Bender passes this one off. I'm still struggling here, Brad. I've got to get this number 8. He broke a shaft right in the stick, and I've obviously made an error. That's John Baker.
I'll keep my eye on him.
It's right here. So we've got Baker's, and I think they are twins. 3 sets of brothers on Cloquet Esco Carlton. Baker's, Senage's, and Langenbrunner's. So anyway, I've kind of caught up here with that line. 5 centering 8 and 14. We'll get back at it. Kept in at the point. This is Hansen. Hansen dumps it down to the end line, and on retreat is Acers. Acers winds up getting the pass tipped in the direction of Durand, and Durand comes in, wide angle shot, big rebound out front, but steered aside nicely by the Lakeville North defense. They bring it out to neutral zone. 23 is Connick, and he's gained the zone and forces Cloquet to find an exit path. It's going to be interesting to see, can Lakeville follow up the momentum from that goal by establishing some zone time and getting the Lumberjacks pinned back into their own end, because it seems like anytime it's crossed that blue line, it comes right back out.
Yeah, they're just not getting it going and sustaining the pressure yet.
So one of the things I noticed during our national anthem, I'm used to watching Minnesota high school games with a 3-man crew, 2 referees, 1 linesman, which is kind of the opposite of a USA Hockey setup. But this game, we've got 2 linesmen, 2 referees. We've got a 4-man crew working this game. I don't remember seeing a 4-man crew last year. Stretch pass up ahead to Smith on the breakaway, and gets a good shot there, steered aside by Carlson. And we have a stoppage of play.
I'm surprised they didn't call a penalty on that. He got tripped as he was shooting.
Was it an offside call, or was it because the net got budged?
That's my guess. The net must come off, but I still thought it should have been a penalty.
Nonetheless, it's an attacking zone infraction, brings the face-off out to the neutral zone. Face-off is controlled by Lakeville North in the direction of Pearson. Throws it up to Schneider. Schneider was our goal scorer, in case you just joined us. 1-0 is the score. Lakeville North up early on the Cloquet Lumberjacks. Kept in at that right point by Pearson. Oh, there's a real good shot there from Schneider. We have a little trouble from this angle kind of seeing the corner, so I went silent. I think the camera's picking it up for our viewers at home, but we got a little spot we can't see too well, and I didn't see the play develop. Next thing you know, Schneider almost on the board with his second of the game. Nonetheless, it's 1-0. They dump it in, go for the line change, and it's a breakout opportunity for Nick Baker. Pass to Galatz. Galatz through the neutral zone to Langenbrunner. Langenbrunner gets it back onto his stick, and short-lived, however, as it's onto the stick of Santiago for North. They chip it through the neutral zone, but the pass doesn't connect. Mason Langenbrunner, he headmans this to Moore. Moore flying through the neutral zone. Coach told us about speed, and we saw a little bit of it right there from Moore.
For the 3 shifts I've watched Schneider, boy, he's got a lot of poise out there. He kind of picks a spot when he wants to go, and he obviously can shoot the puck.
That was just a laser, that quick release. You don't see a lot of wrist shots anymore, and I think that was a wrister. You know, you see the snappers kind of replaced the wrister and the snap shot, and that's usually what you see, but I'd like to watch that one on replay and see that one when I go home tonight. Lakeville tries to break it out through Ennebeck. Next pass doesn't quite connect, and it's a forechecking opportunity here for the Lumberjacks. Baker takes it down into the corner, 2-2. He's got a little bit of help from Moore. Baker chips it now, and now it's Moore skating through Gretzky's office, fielding the puck down along that end line, and Baker throws this one out front, doesn't quite connect, kept in at the point by Nordin. Moore spins and shoots, and this one gets knocked down, and unusual play there. Santiago deep in the shift. Didn't even try to connect in a breakout pass. He just took a slapper to clear the zone, went off for the line change, and wound up getting ticked, so there's no icing call. But that's evidence early, Brad, that they're getting tired of being pinned back in their own end deep into these shifts.
There's no doubt that I think this might be a little early game and early season jitters right now. One thing I've noticed is when Cloquet does get some zone time, defense of Lakeville are not picking up and boxing out. I think if they get some shots on goal, they might have a field day on some rebounds if the goalie kicks them out, because Lakeville's D are not picking up.
Ringing the boards out to Connick. It gets over his stick and out to the neutral zone. This is Nick Baker. Regroup opportunity for the Lumberjacks. Tipped in the direction of DuPont. D-to-D back and forth with Hansen, and DuPont out to the neutral zone. Kept in. Forechecking is Kettela. Kettela's now down to the end line. He's got Drew Senich behind him. Senich sweeps through and picks the puck up down into the corner and plays it back to the blue line, kept in by Acers, and his shot gets deflected down to the end line and just to the side of goaltender Mayer. Lakeville North out to the neutral zone. Pass doesn't connect, however, onto the stick of, I think that's Schandorf. Yep, it's Schandorf. You could see that just a little juggle there by the defenseman. He misplayed it, and Schandorf almost had a breakaway opportunity. He had a steam and almost reeled that one in. Senich goes wide, and nice play there defensively by Pearson. The defenders push it over toward the goaltender Mayer, who gets the cover.
The Minnesota offer fall midget teams playing at the highest level for 15s, 16U, and 18U. For more information, please visit our website.
So, Brad, what we've seen so far has been, a hotly contested game. We've seen very few scoring chances, and the one we saw, the goaltender really didn't have time to react. It's in the back of the net. So it's going to be interesting. We've hit the midpoint of the first period, 8.5 minutes to go now. We're into the second half of period one. It's going to be interesting to see if things settle down a little bit. We get some more scoring chances.
I think this first line will be fun to watch. Lakeville's line, obviously, as you mentioned earlier, they have some good cohesion. They're just getting out on their shift, so it should be a fun 45-second shift to see what they can do if they can get something going offensively.
So this is Smith in the face-off circle. Left side is Spencer Schneider. Right side is Shane Griffin. And D-to-D pass here. They hit Gasparini. Had a chance to talk with Jake Ennebeck, assistant coach for Lakeville, and he said Gasparini is a very promising sophomore. They expect a lot out of him, and he even went so far as to say that some of these sophomores on the team this year will have post-high school careers. He sees that kind of talent. Oh my goodness, that was an unbelievable hit. Galatz got leveled, but it was by Rasmussen, his own player. They ran into each other.
Looked like Snyder might have been in that as well, so I'm not quite sure if
I think Rasmussen undercut Galatz. You can obviously go back and watch this in the archives and see that one over and over, but the the expression is the one end over tea kettle, and that's exactly what we saw right there. Hopefully he's all right. Face off is to Myers left, and opportunity here with Cloquet and more zone time. They lose the draw, however. Munson breaks this one out, bobbles over the stick of the wing, and thrown right back in by Acers. Played behind the goal by Mayer. He leaves it for Munson. Second time's a charm. They get this one out to the neutral zone and breaking it through into Santiago. Steered aside by Carlson. Oh, what a nice scoring chance there by Ennebeck. Ennebeck was snaking into that slot area, wound up fielding that pass and tipping it in the direction of Carlson. Big save there. It would have been 2-0. Out on the end line and working hard on the forecheck is Bender. Bender picks the puck up. Little two-man game working with Moore. Big hit here from John Baker. Kept in at the point. Big shot by Nick Baker and steered out to the sideboard and then thrown out to neutral. Davidson's pass wound up going through Santiago. They clear the zone and work on part of a line change.
Lakeville is really having a tough time getting out of their zone. I think their wings are just too high on the breakout.
It'll be interesting to see, are there some adjustments that are made? You mentioned maybe getting those wingers a little bit lower, so something that we'll watch as the game continues. 6:37 to go, first period. Faceoff comes to the left of Carlson. Into the faceoff circle for Lakeville North is Lebens. Lebens is out with Kranz and Schandorf. Both teams early, Brad, I can see them going very deep on the line charts. We've seen all 6 of the defense for Lakeville North playing quite a bit so far. This is DuPont. He's out with Hansen. Their third set on the the line chart that we were given. So no concerns there on the Lakeville side, and I haven't seen them either about Cloquet, Esco, Carlton shortening the bench because they just don't think they've got the horses. They both seem to be very comfortable with their team depth.
I think you have to be. You just got to give these kids a chance to get out there and get their emotions in check, and things should work out fine.
You know how you and I were talking earlier, and that goal came right when I was mentioning the strength of this Lakeville North line. I think the vibe I'm getting, my spidey senses are tingling. We're about to have a penalty on one of these teams. It'll be our first power play of the game. I think that's going to really change the complexion when we do get our first penalty, because it's been a lot of time in the Lakeville zone, and Cloquet's been unable to capitalize on that zone time and create scoring chances. But I have a feeling this is going to take a different turn. Next penalty, the first penalty of this game would probably be a big one in terms of changing the tone of the game.
Absolutely. That way you get things moving a little bit.
Schandorf with the steal, gets the pass. This one's onto the stick of Schneider. I'm sorry, that's not Schandorf, that's 22 Smith. Nice pass up ahead to Acers, and Acers up from the blue line. He's leading the rush as a defender, and now they get caught a man down. Here comes Smith, 2-on-1 opportunity. Pass doesn't quite connect to Schneider. It was interesting. You're a high-powered forward back in your day. And every time I see a defenseman leading the rush, like we saw there with Acers, it sounds so cool. You really want these D to get up in the play. But when the puck turns over, and we saw an example right there, nobody went back to cover.
Yeah, it's important. I believe that defensemen that jump into the play makes it really exciting. It gives the offense a lot of options.
It is, but cuts both ways if the players don't recognize. And it's one of the things that we'll look for as the game wears on. First game of the year, obviously early in the season. Good pass out there to Bender. His shot goes just wide. Moore in pursuit. Brings this one down to John Baker. John Baker over to Moore. Oh, excuse me. That's Bender. Bender over to Moore. Big hit there in the corner from Munson. Just a sophomore. He's going to win this battle and chip it up along the wall in the direction of Enneback. Kept in, however, by this tenacious Cloquet forecheck. They've been very strong in the zone. Working around the perimeter. Seems like every time they try to crack the code and go toward that, that scoring area, that's when things like that happen. They get knocked off the puck. Nice check there by Munson. Chipped back to the point. Kept in by Nick Baker. Down behind the end line is Moore. Moore, short pass in the direction of John Baker, and a couple whacks at it down low. Spinorama, and this one's just off to the side. Good scoring chance there from Moore. Probably the closest they've been in taking a shot all game.
What they're doing there is, as I mentioned earlier, I think Lakeville's wingers are just too high. They're coming off the half boards and finding that seam and getting some offensive generated.
Advertising with Edenhall Productions is an inexpensive way to reach thousands. For more information, John at EdenhallCo.com.
Faceoff is won by Cloquet, and a big wrist shot there from Landon Langenbrunner. Steered aside by Mayer. Galatz fighting a battle with Rasmussen. Rasmussen takes down, no call. Takes down the defender. And now the stick is, you see that behind the play. He was trying to get away, and his stick actually got up into the neck area of DuPont. And nonetheless, no call yet. Play continues. And good thing here for Cloquet is they've got a lot of momentum. They don't want to fall a man down. Galatz out front to Landon. He takes a shot that's going toward that top corner and steered aside by Mayer.
They have Lakeville on their heels right now. I think either a penalty or a goal's coming.
Nice pass out front. Rasmussen trying to get his stick on it, but broken up very nicely by DuPont. On retreat, it's Mason. Mason chips this one, but nobody's home, and his brother Landon has to go all the way back down along the wall to get this one. And right idea, but there was no one there for the breakout, and it's an opportunity for Lakeville North to complete their line change and see if they can set something up on the attack. Haven't had much zone time, and this is an opportunity to change that.
Well, if it's going to happen, this is Lakeville's line that's going to get the zone time.
2 minutes to go in the period. 1-0 is the score. The Lakeville North Panthers wearing gray on top. This one's stolen by Griffin, and Griffin goes to take a shot, and Mason got a stick on that up into the netting. Stoppage of play, face off to the goaltenders left. So, thinking about all the hockey that you've played, you look ahead to this period break. It's the first game of the year, and games are either going the way you expect or not. And, what are you thinking the coach's messages to both of these teams are going to be? Is it keep doing what you're doing, or, hey, guys, we need to make some adjustments, and here's what they are?
Well, if you're Cloquet, you just keep doing what you're doing. You're getting your chances. Your work ethic and tenacity is there. Good things will happen. Lakeville, I think you have to just figure it out and get things operated from your breakout on out.
Chipped out to the neutral zone, and in retreat is Nordin back into his own end. Pass doesn't quite connect with Ketela, and it's dumped in by the boys in gray. They complete their line change, and it's a chance to break out with a stretch pass off of Ketela's skate boot. Doesn't quite reel it in off his stick blade, and now they're back down into their own end. They try Ketela again. It bounces out to the neutral zone. Pearson with a pass up ahead to Smith. Smith gets knocked down. Big hit there laid by Ketela. Final minute of the period. Entering the zone, this is Drew Senich. He goes to shoot that, and at the moment of release, it's broken up very, very nicely by Smith. They hit Smith. He's got Griffin if he wants him, and this has been a very impressive line. Schneider, Smith, and Griffin, they move very quickly without the puck, and I can see as they get more and more comfortable, it's their first season together as a line, you can just imagine they're really going to get a lot of goals on zone entry.
No doubt. They'll definitely gel as the season goes on.
So we got 15 seconds left in this period. Last few seconds here, and a big shot goes just wide, taken by John Baker. Lakeville brings this out to the neutral zone. Griffin to Schneider. Schneider shot wide and on the back door. Big chance there from Griffin. That was a crazy sequence, Brad.
It's interesting, and a great play by Griffin, and the fact that he was going hard to the far post, took a crazy hop off the boards, and he just about rammed that home. It was a great play.
So we've got a great interview for you. It's an opportunity to learn more about the Upper Midwest High School Elite League. I interviewed board member Mark Mackesy. So that's going to cover our break between periods 1 and 2 with Brad Atal. I'm John Conley. We'll be back in about 15 minutes. You guys don't go anywhere. I hope you enjoy this segment about the Upper Midwest High School Elite League.
Hello there, I'm John Connolly with Eden Hall Academy. I am the headmaster. I'm also the tournament director for the Memorial Day Challenge, which last year was the largest youth hockey event across the entire Sun Belt in the off season. We had about 72 teams and about 1,000 families that came to the Tampa Bay area for a great weekend of vacation and hockey. For years, I've fielded my own Eden Hall Academy teams. Players have gone on to become NHL draft picks like Akil Thomas and several NCAA commitments at schools like Dartmouth, Notre Dame, Northeastern, Michigan State, and others. Great opportunity. I'd like to personally invite you to bring your family and be a part of this upcoming season. Got a great coach that's already on board. We'll practice a couple times to get ready in Minnesota and then have a nice, great vacation with very good hockey. There's more NHL teams in Florida than there are in the state of hockey, believe it or not. And as a result, the youth hockey is very good. And also a wonderful vacation opportunity. Gulf beaches, my favorite small town in all of America, Tarpon Springs, and you can go enjoy that year-round 72-degree cool water and cool off in the nice hot Florida weather at Weeki Wachee Springs, or do a glass-bottom boat ride. Lots of several fun things you can do. It's a great weekend, and for more information, just send me an email. You want to get in touch to be included in any updates as we go through the planning stages, and check out my website, EdenHallCo.com. Just click on Academy. Email address is john@EdenHallCo.com. Love to have you be a part of 2019. This is John Connolly. I'm here with Mark Mackesy. Mark, thanks for joining me.
John, great to be here.
So we're at St. Thomas Academy on campus at the school ice rink. We've got the University of St. Thomas practicing behind us, and it's a homecoming resort. So a little bit about you. You graduated from St. Thomas Academy in what year?
1986.
1986, and I remember that 1986 team pretty well. Probably had the best defensive core in the state. Mark Mackesy, Dan Bodette, Dan Brooks, and Randy Scarda.
You're nice, yeah.
All patrolling the blue line.
All patrolling the blue line. We did our best. Randy Scarda went on to play in the NHL. Dan Brooks had a great career at Denver, and Dan Bodette had a great career at Miami of Ohio.
Yeah, so you've got a group of guys now. A generation later, you're still involved after playing at the University of St. Thomas. I see your name on some of the plaques we have here for your time when you played college hockey here. And today you're coaching. You're involved in the coaching staff of St. Thomas.
Yeah, no, it's great to be back and great to be involved with the program. We've got a great group of kids. We've got a great tradition, great student athletes. Our team GPA last year was 3.6. Real proud of that. Real proud of the accomplishments on and off the ice.
Yeah, you always want your team GPA higher than the goalie's GAA.
Correct.
So anyway, that's a little bit about your St. Thomas connection. We're watching a St. Thomas game right now, but let's talk about what else you're doing. So you're a board member for the Upper Midwest High School Elite League, and let's talk about that. So some people might have a little familiarity. We'll go deeper for them, and other people may not be aware of its existence. So when was the Elite League started, and what is it?
So it was started in 2002. And it's, I would describe it, it's a collection of the best 16, 17, and 18-year-old hockey players in the country. They play during the fall, starting in September. They play 25 games that really kind of takes them up to the high school season. And it's really, John, it's a best-on-best format. It's the idea behind this is to bring the best high school hockey players from the state of Minnesota, from Wisconsin. There's a team Wisconsin. There are some kids from North Dakota that also participate, and Shattuck.
Yeah, so it's such a different model compared to what the rest of the country is doing or what they're doing in Canada. You hear stories about kids moving away at young ages. Age 15 is pretty common in Canada to go pursue midget and then junior hockey, living with host families. And throughout much of the United States, it's really the same thing. So here's an opportunity for kids in Minnesota to take advantage of the fact that they're from Minnesota, where you have such a high concentration of strong players. And I'll even make the argument that this is a superior option to a lot of other play that people might be familiar with on a national level. So I'll mention the NTDP, the North American Hockey League, 18U, Major Midget, it's often called. And here's a chance for kids to get the equivalent experience of maybe playing in the USHL, Tier 1 junior hockey in the United States. So let's talk a little bit about how that works. So you mentioned Shattuck St. Mary's. Another team that's come every year is the national team. USA Hockey's national program comes from Michigan. So what is it that they're coming for, and why have they continued to re-up and come year after year to play against teams from your league?
Yeah, I mean, they come up here, you know, the NTDP, they're going to play great competition, and they'll play in the USHL, and they'll come up here, and the competition in the Elite League, in many respects, is it's close to on par with the USHL. We had 2 games against them this year. They came up and they were successful in both games against the Elite League, but they were 1-goal games, and they were games that could have gone either way. So that's just a snapshot of the talent and the skill level that's in this league that's produced in the state of Minnesota.
2 great games this year. We announced those. Thanks for your help with those. And last year, probably the strongest, I believe, NTDP National Team Development Program we've seen with the 2001 birth year. One of them was a regulation tie, went to overtime. The year before, I think that was the year that the Elite League won both of those games. So, you know, recent history, these are very, very competitive games. And we're talking about kids in Minnesota getting an opportunity, if they're good enough, to play at that
without the sacrifices. So let's talk about what sacrifices they're not making. So what are these kids able to do on their normal week if they stay at home? Tell me what some of the kids this year did during the fall season when they weren't on the ice.
Well, it's fine. We've got guys. It's a league that's friendly to the multi-sport athlete, and it was a young guy, Brendan McFadden, who actually plays for St. Thomas Academy. He played in the Elite League, and he also starred on the football team, and 35 touchdowns this year.
And counting.
He's not done yet. And so, he's just one of the many success stories over the last 16 years of the league where a guy is a multi-sport athlete. And also, the league is also friendly. Kids get the opportunity to stay home, go to school, bond with their buddies, especially their senior year, go to homecoming, prepare for the ACT, the SAT, and really be a student athlete all in one place.
You mentioned McFadden, that's one example. Other kids also play lights, playing some high school football and playing other sports like soccer or running cross country. And then we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, I want you to talk about what their weekend's like and who's in the building when they go to these hockey games.
Minnesota's hockey culture is one of, if not the best in America. So it's only fitting that one of the best hockey camps in the world is right here in Nisswa.
This is Dan Germanson. Welcome to Minnesota Hockey Camps. We are gearing up for our 39th summer based in Nisswa, Minnesota in the beautiful Brainerd Lakes area. At MHC, there is a culture that breeds success. We offer resident and day camps for boys and girls of all ages from mites to NHL, 9 weeks throughout the summer.
We've had probably 700 NHLers come through here.
We have 32 hockey-related activities per week. Over the years, we have had close to 400 professional players come through our camp, including Division I, Stanley Cup, and Olympic champions.
I'm a little surprised that this camp is still here. To be honest with you, we thought it would be about a 20-year run, and it actually got better.
Visit our website at mnhockeycamps.com. Registration opens January 1st for 2019.
And we're back. John Connolly here with Mark Mackesy. We're talking about the Upper Midwest High School Elite League. Mark is a board member for the league and very involved in its operations as they get together on weekends. So the league's anchored out of New Hope Ice Arena. There's some travel. They might play some games away at Shattuck or northern Minnesota or maybe even Wisconsin. But Mark, describe what it's like when you get into the building as the league kicks up in the fall. Who's there?
Yeah, I mean, it's filled with scouts. It's filled with every NHL team is the Elite League. Most major Division I schools are going to scout the Elite League. The USHL is going to scout it heavily. The North American Hockey League is going to scout it. The BCHL is going to scout it. Pretty much every junior league that's out there that brings in players post high school, they're going to be out scouting the league. Again, along with the NHL, colleges, it's really a who's who.
Yeah, it's no lie to say every NHL team is watching the players in this league. And a typical weekend, teams gather at New Hope. Each team will play 3 games, 2 on Saturday, 1 on Sunday. And when you look at the 8 teams on a normal weekend, what is that? Something like 12 games.
Yeah.
So they have such a great concentration with hundreds of recruitable athletes for the college teams and dozens of draftable athletes for the NHL team, and it's just a great opportunity. It's kind of a fun weekend to be up there, and it's not unusual that there's as many people scouting as there are just generally interested fans watching the games.
Yeah, these NHL teams and colleges, they've got a big stake in this game, and this league over the years has just continued to get better and better, and the interest has really grown.
So who's played in this league? You mentioned to me earlier that Zach Parisi was part of those first Shattuck teams to play, and Shattuck's always an entrance, so that includes players like Sidney Crosby or Eric Halla. This year, Brisson was just outstanding in the league, and I think is a preseason national high school All-American last year. Selenoff was the same. So you've got the Shattuck team is entered, so you're playing against the top players. Which other kids from Minnesota have played in this league over time?
Jake Gensel, and recently, and Stanley Cup winner and Sidney Crosby's line mate, Ryan McDonough, former captain of the Rangers, and just a great player, a guy that multi-sport athlete, stayed 4 years.
So I want to mention someone else. We talk about those big names like you just mentioned, and they are big names. If you're in a fantasy hockey league for the NHL playoffs, Jake Gensel rode me to victory 2 years ago, and I was right in the mix this past season. He's a playoff demon. But to speak to the depth of the league, we've got a banner hanging up over our shoulder here. Odin Tufto from St. Thomas Academy played in the league and was, for lack of a better term, maybe fit in, an average player in the league. And he's gone to be not just a successful college player, but a superstar at Quinnipiac University. So there's a lot of stories as well when you get past the biggest names about benefits to all of the kids that get an opportunity to play in this league.
Yeah, well, I think you look at, John, if you look at the college teams in Minnesota right now and the success that St. Cloud's having, and Minnesota State, Minnesota Duluth, and obviously Minnesota, the core group of those teams are kids from Minnesota, and the core group play in the Elite League. And so you're talking about, I think, maybe 3 of the top teams in the country, ranked 1, 2, 3 in at UMD, St. Cloud, Minnesota State. Core group of guys are a lot of Minnesotans and a lot of guys that played in this league.
Yeah, so that's a real testament to the strength of your league. Let's just wrap it up by talking about how players get an opportunity to play in this league. It is the Elite League. Not everybody gets in. It's not like you just sign up. So how are the players sourced, and what is the process for kids to get an opportunity to play in next year's Elite League?
How this works, and the timing's good, is that the coaches that coach in the Elite League and former NHL players like Sean Toomey, Paul Ranheim, Chris McAlpine, they'll be out watching high school games this year and watching many. And so if you're out there and you're a good player, you're going to get noticed, and you may get an invite to automatically play in the league. That's one way to get in. The other way is they may see you and invite you to try out, and you can make it through the tryout. And the success stories have been great, both from the guys that were automatic invites as well as the guys that have come in and made it out of the tryout.
So you mentioned the couple ways to get in. If a player's on some of these teams, this weekend's tournament, St. Thomas, Minnetonka, Lakeville North, Cloquet, these are teams that send a lot of. And we are back. We'll nip off the last little few seconds there of the Elite League interview and get back to the game. The Zamboni was super quick, Brad. Entering the zone, it's a nice pass from Smith and a big shot from Griffin, and steered off nicely by Carlson. Going the other way, it's Rasmussen. His drop pass doesn't quite connect, and chipped out to neutral zone by Lakeville. It seems like when Lakeville is in their own end, they're mainly concerned with exiting the zone, not so concerned with maintaining possession. A lot of pushing the puck out and not a lot of care in keeping the possession. Ooh, this one gets kicked toward the goal, and that looked like one that might wind up in the back of the net off of a skate boot.
Quick start to the second period. I guess they want to let the horses start running, right?
Yeah, definitely a good pace here. One of the things we talked about in period 1 is what would things look like when we get out for period 2? What would that vibe be? And we're seeing a lot of speed, and we're seeing some players, already connecting on passes that weren't connecting first period. Down to player here, it looks like Smith in his first game for Lakeville North after transferring from South.
Yeah, I don't recall, unless it's just when he ran into the goalie there, or maybe got hammered into the goalie.
There's a lot of traffic down by the goal, and it was weird because from where we're standing, you could see that puck and possibly hitting a skate boot and getting past the goaltender, and somehow stayed out. And I don't know, they would have allowed a goal with possible goaltender interference or a kicking motion. But yeah, it got a little squirrely down there, and that's a big change from the first period where we really didn't have a lot of activity in front of either goal.
You look at it, John, and Cloquet's goalie really came up with a couple big saves in the first 41 seconds, and that was important because if he's not sharp, this is a 2-0 game, and all of a sudden it could be getting away from Cloquet.
Yeah, the saves for the first period were 5-5. That means the shots were 6-5 favoring North. They lead 1-0. We're 41 seconds into the period. Back at it here. Kranz in the face-off circle looks across, and he sees Drew Senich. One in the direction of Munson, who dumps it in for Lakeville North, and they try to set up their forecheck. Munson's shot gets deflected and bounds out off to the sidewall. Cloquet tries to break it up right in front of us, and they managed to get it out in a beautiful neutral zone drop pass. Streaking in is Mason. Mason with a shot and a huge glove save by Meyer.
That was a great play all around. The Cloquet guy drew the defenseman with him, just gave a behind-the-back pass, and Lakeville's goalie right on it.
Kind of a behind-the-back drop-ish type pass, like it was more lateral, but the motion of a drop pass, and overlapping was the defenseman. Just a sophomore, very mature play there. Like you said, getting up into that rush. It's nice when you have a defenseman that can do that. Mason Langenbrunner almost tied the game. This is Munson on retreat. He rings the boards, tries to bring it out through Connick, and well, I'm sorry, is that Shandorf? Yep, Shandorf left side, and this one takes a deflection, bounces up high. Goaltender gets a cover. Face-off now comes to his left.
You can't say enough for those aspiring defensemen to jump into the play. And like you said, it's important always to have a forward get back or at least be aware that the forward jumped in. But he made a great play, and he obviously has some offensive abilities that Langenbrunner does.
This gets into hockey sense, Brad. It's easy to say, we want our defenseman to join the rush. There's such a big difference between joining at times when a puck turning over or a shot missing the net is harmless, and joining at times when if a pass doesn't connect, you're toast. And, my favorite NHL guy for a long time that joined the rush was Sandis Ojelynch, dating myself back to the 90s. And, you've got some people in the modern game that like to get up into the play. But at the high school level, and I'll use, you're an Edina resident, Edina's had a lot of really highly skilled forwards or defensemen. A lot of times they go get up in the play, the puck turns over, and it costs them. So you got to be judicious in joining the rush. And, one of the things we'll watch as this game continues to unfold. Big shot from that right point came in. Wicked wrister, that's Hansen, and now Hansen's in retreat fighting against Moore. Moore's got a lot of speed. The coach told us about the speed of this team, and I can see Moore is one of those fast players for Cloquet. Chipped out to the neutral zone on retreat. Defenseman Acers, he now gets the puck onto his stick and very careful. It seems like Cloquet has been trained to make sure passes are with a purpose, less concerned about just throwing the puck up ice. They seem to always be trying to get it onto the stick of a teammate. Doesn't always work, but they're less likely to throw the puck away.
I agree. They definitely got the right idea in mind to at least have some puck control.
Griffin was shooting for that top corner. He didn't miss by much. And we do see that Smith has returned to the ice, so he was the down player shift ago, and Smith looks like he's not going to miss any game time after that stoppage of play for the part-time injury, short-term injury. Rasmussen chips the puck up ahead. Landon Langenbrunner's in pursuit with Pearson. There's no icing called. Turned over right onto the stick of Langenbrunner, and he walks it out of the corner and plays this one to Galatz. Galatz, all the time in the world, tries to get it down to Langenbrunner, who went for that stuff move, tried to wide wrap. You could see what he was working on, and nice play there from the defenseman or the goaltender to chip it away. Griffin's been very, very active offensively. He's an uncommitted player, not yet college committed, and I know he's an interest in playing college hockey. You have a feeling he might be one of the kids that really uses the senior season to elevate his status.
Well, he's on a good line, so he definitely has the opportunity. The chance is there.
And you'll be able to see Griffin's interview between periods. He's our guest tomorrow between period 2 and 3. As I mentioned earlier, our between periods guests for periods 2 and 3 today, Langenbrunner, Schneider, and Porter are the 3 players you'll be hearing from. Play continues, and it's chipped up ahead. This is Galatz. Galatz back to Langenbrunner. Offsides the call.
John, you mentioned it earlier with Schneider and the fact that he took a wrist shot and he's got a quick wrist shot. You don't see a lot of wrist shots as much in the game today, but he's got a really quick release, gets the puck off, and it's a low shot, so if somebody's driving the net, there could be some rebounds there.
The slap shot's more or less a dead shot. The release time, when we played, it was important to have a big slap shot. You wanted to, get that big shot off. And, you see the one-timer slap shot in the higher levels of the game. But coming in and taking that clap bomber is just a thing in the past. Waving the flag from the blue line is a thing in the past. And because of the sticks and the training, kids are using a snapshot has really replaced both the slapper and the wrister, yet, you know, old school, that was Schneider's goal. Just a laser. I was down talking to our scorers table, and one of them said, I didn't even see it. That's how quick that release was on a quick wrister. So what a coincidence. We have offsetting minors. Play continues 5-on-5 for the Skaters. Both teams remain full strength despite a couple penalties that get called. 12 minutes to go in the second period. Cloquet still trails 1-0. Lakeville North on top. They chip the puck, gain the zone, and send in a fresh set of legs on the forecheck. Breaking it out over in our direction. They chip it up ahead and out to the neutral zone off the stick of Nick Baker. Baker trying to get it on to Drew Senich. Hounding him is Kettla, and big hit there. Play continues, but Lakeville North has lost the puck. This is Mason. Mason with a nice counter move, works it out, plays it D-to-D over to Acers, and Acers surveys the situation. He plays Mason. Doing a good job spreading, creating some passing lanes. Mason with a nice counter move there. Gets knocked off the puck, however, and they're unable to break it out. He's trying to bring this one up through Moore. Moore and Mason fighting a battle. Pops out onto the stick of 23 is Connick. Connick plays this back to the blue line. DuPont's been very good on defense throughout this game so far. He's wearing number 10 for Lakeville North. Comes Senich. Senich out to the neutral zone and circling back. This is Hansen. Hansen over to DuPont. Pass doesn't connect, and we've seen that as a common theme. The purple team's trying to get passes from the defense onto the stick of forwards, go the other way, and the puck just seems to go off their stick, but it never really seems to have a intended target. They're just trying to push the puck up ice and relieve that pressure short term.
Yeah, they're just not getting any momentum and continuity going.
Pinching in is Olsen, and manages to get in the passing lane, but as they've done throughout the game, Lakeville North gets the puck out to neutral. It works, Brad, to relieve that pressure just throwing the puck away, but it seems to be short-lived. You just get pushed right back in because Cloquet is having a lot of pucks thrown their direction at neutral zone.
I think what the reason that's happening, that they're just throwing the puck, is Lakeville's D have to start moving up ice with the puck, and that's going to then release Cloquet's defenseman to at least back out of the zone, and then that pass will be there. But a good D has got to make that first pass, and they got to start moving up ice to get Cloquet's defenseman out of the zone.
So Darian Durand is centerman here for Cloquet, and he's out squaring off against that top line, Schneider, Smith, and Griffin. It's going to be kind of an interesting matchup. You can see Coach Shea Walters very comfortable going deep onto his depth chart, bringing out Durand, Schmitz, and Generaux against Lakeville's top line. Faceoff is controlled by the Lumberjacks and chipped up ahead by Nick Baker. They gain the zone but lose possession. On retreat is Pearson. Pearson fights off the forechecking Durand, and now it's Schmitz with the puck out front. This one hit Generaux in the skate boot and went just wide. And as we mentioned earlier, this is a beautiful line to watch in transition. They have a very nice zone entry, even though it's the first game of the year. Out to the neutral zone. This one's grabbed by Gasparini. Gasparini over to Pearson. This one bounces, and nice chance here from Schneider over to Griffin, and broken up nicely. Durand brings it the other direction, throws it all the way down, and sends Generaux in pursuit. Nice little skate move here from defender Pearson. Brings it up our side, and you could see Schneider trying to find Griffin with a stretch pass. They've got a lot of chemistry together.
They really do. Yeah, he saw that, and fortunately for Cloquet's D, he got onto it, but it was a good read.
I have a feeling they're going to have a very good season in the conference games. You know, Lakeville's top bar down. I think that's Generaux. Was it 3 or 13? Oh, it's Rasmussen. They got the line change. It's 13 Rasmussen. He's a senior captain for the Lumberjacks, and Cloquet is on the board. We are now tied.
You know, the goalie, he was in his butterfly position looking for it, and it quickly got on Rasmussen's stick, and he went top shelf. When that goalie's down in the butterfly, shooters go high.
shooters go high, and getting back to the equipment, we talk about the death of the slap shot more or less, and you go to buy hockey sticks today, and a lot of them have that scoop, that shovel curve, and at the highest levels, talking professional hockey level, the goalies are so tall, a lot of times down in that dirty zone down low, your only chance is right under the crossbar, and here's an example of Rasmussen scoring one just like that. Cloquet has tied the game. So we pause to hear the public address. It goes in the books. Rasmussen from Galatz and Landon. We are now tied at 1. And boy, Brad, that'll sure change the complexion of this game.
Yeah, it definitely gives the Lumberjacks an added boost. I think they've been patient. They obviously wanted a goal earlier, but they're moving.
Boom goes the dynamite. We've got another one. This is a rocket snapper. I think that's Acers, number 2, as he got up into the play, took the pass, and no doubt about that one as he's ripping twine. Acers with 2 goals for the Lumberjacks right on the heels of Rasmussen's, and all of a sudden Cloquet now leads 2-1.
You look at it, John, and Cloquet's D are igniting the plays. They're jumping into the play. Langenbrunner and Acers, that's the key. And all of a sudden, it's an odd man rush.
So all of a sudden, the game's taken a turn for the worse if you're the Lakeville North Panthers. It was kind of like walking out of the bar and finding 10 bucks on the ground that their first shot went in. They had really not done much and took a 1-0 lead in the first 2 minutes of the game. Now, who were in the early part of the second period, they now trailed 2-1.
I'm looking at even the breakout there was a good opportunity for Lakeville's D to use a reverse, and they didn't, and puck kind of got coughed up a little bit.
So I believe that one's Acers from Landon and Galatz. 2 goals in less than a minute, 1 shift, and middle of the second period now, Cloquet now leading 2-1. Get a stoppage of play and a face-off coming to the goaltender's left. So cracking that whip, what do you think we're going to see on the Lakeville North bench? You think they're just going to start running that top line every other shift? Do you think it's a little too early for that?
I think it's too early for that. Back-to-back nights, I think you just have to keep going with what you got. Game's obviously manageable. Quick bounce of the puck one way or the other, and you're back in it.
Face-off one back to Anderson. His shot goes just wide, and it's a moment before it turns over, and nice pass from Kranz. He hits Connick with a shot. This one steered aside by Carlson. Good zone entry there. One of the best clean looks we've seen from Lakeville in quite some time. Chip down to the end line. Nordin in pursuit. He tips this one, trying to get it over to Huta. Oh, and this one looking for somebody in that slot, trying to knock down a puck, and big hit there. It's our game's first penalty going off for Cloquet is going to be Anderson, the sophomore.
That's an interesting sequence because Cloquet was really starting to take the play to him, and that line just got the momentum back for Lakeville, and all of a sudden Cloquet takes a penalty, and now you have the top line that's rested. They'll be coming on the power play with probably about a minute and a half rest, so it's good timing for Lakeville's power play unit.
Tradition Companies is your one-stop shop for all your home and financing needs. From construction, land development, new home builders, mortgages, banking, and wealth management services, the Tradition family of companies has the solution for you. For more information on everything Tradition Companies has to offer, visit traditionco.com. That's traditionco.com.
So, Brad, it's the first power play of the game. It comes for Lakeville North at a time when they really need it. They trailed 2-1. It's been a little time since they've had that lead, and now they're looking to get back to square here. Great that they won the faceoff. They're able to establish some zone time to start out, but it's cleared out to the neutral zone by John Baker, and we'll see if Pearson can reestablish the zone with possession. Ringing it in deep is Gasparini, and picking it up over on the near wall, I think that's Smith. Short-lived, however, as it's cleared the length of the ice. 40 seconds have elapsed in this power play for the Panthers. Oh. That was one of those things where Smith turned and all of a sudden he looked up and he's right in front of Bender, who just decked him. And one of those where I don't know that he was quite ready for the hit. So 1 minute has elapsed in this 2-minute power play. Lakeville has reestablished the zone, but they lost possession. Griffin now fights a battle along the wall, trying to regain it. And good job on this penalty kill so far for the Lumberjacks. Back at the blue line, it's kept in with a D-to-D pass, and we are tied. Beautiful power play goal there for Lakeville North. It's their first shot on goal on the power play, and they've tied the game.
You know, it's interesting because I was just thinking they got to get some guys in front of the goalie and screen them. And just right before the shot came, Schneider just basically skated right in front of the goalie and then probably distracted him a slight bit. And lo and behold, he blew it by him on the glove side.
So I think it's Munson's going to get credit for the goal. We'll listen to the public address announcer to confirm that. Munson has tied the game. This one comes in a power play, and I knew the game's first penalty would really change the complexion of the game. I thought it would come earlier. Here we are late second period with the first penalty. We now have Lakeville North returning to tied. It's 2-2 is your score. We're going to listen to the public address announcer. Robin Cook's going to read this one off. As soon as his puck is dropped, we'll hear Robin read this off. We want to make sure we get that for you at home.
Scoring for Lakeville North on the power play, number 17, Ben Munson. Assisted by number 4, Mario Gasparini, and number 25, Shane Griffin.
So that one goes Munson, sophomore defenseman, from Gasparini, sophomore defenseman, and senior captain Shane Griffin. We talked to the coaches before the game, and they said they were real high on the sophomore class for Lakeville North. Specifically, mentioned those defensemen. So that one's a great example. Munson from Gasparini and Griffin.
It's always good to get your younger players, obviously, some experience, and when they can start contributing and feeling that, hey, I belong at this level, it really is going to bode well for both teams, for that matter. Both teams got some younger players, and they're very good players at the younger level, the sophomores.
Yeah, some of these sophomores were playing Bantam hockey last year, and I believe that was also the case with Mason Langenbrunner for the Lumberjacks, and those defensemen we just mentioned for Lakeville North. I think Gasparini came off the Bantam team as well. Munson may have played varsity as a ninth grader, but very, very impressive here that they're handling things so well at the early going of the season. They're already in midseason form.
You look at what's happening, and Lakeville's D are starting to push it. They're starting to pinch a little bit and not leave as earlier, and all of a sudden they got a forecheck again.
So, Brad, we're down under the 4-minute mark. We play 17-minute periods for Minnesota high school hockey, so this is the last quarter of the second period. Taken out to the neutral zone by Cloquet. They chip it down. It came off the stick of Bender. They work to establish their forecheck. Short-lived, however, as Connick gets it, rink-wide pass. Little bank pass there to Shandorf, takes it off the wall and stays on side and leaves a pass here for Kranz. Kranz rips it off the crossbar. I thought it was into the back of the net, but the referee was right there. He says no, play continues. Wowza. My ears are ringing.
That looked in.
Yeah, I don't know. That looked like it was in and out, and there's a penalty.
What an interesting change of events. I mean, the ref was right there, so if he probably saw it the way it was, and then lo and behold, it goes the other end. And
yeah, you're looking at possibly 3-2 Lakeville North if that puck is in, and now we come the other way. Cloquet gets a little pressure, and it's a penalty called. Going off for Lakeville North is Kranz. They're on their penalty kill now, second penalty of the game. We saw the first penalty led to a power play goal. This is a great opportunity for Cloquet to reestablish that lead. So let's see what we have for personnel. They are coming out with Mason is back on the blue line with Rasmussen. Rasmussen, normally a forward, he's back on the blue line. Moore, we've seen him. He's a very, very fast player. 15 is Landon and Bender. So you see Coach Shea Walters very comfortable going with his most experienced players all together at the same time, breaking up the lines, and it'll be interesting if they do not score, what they're able to do to kind of get through the rest of the period, because this is the type of thing that really unsettles your lines when you put together a power play unit.
Yeah, I can definitely throw them off.
Crayons for cross-checking. This shot came from the point from Mason and deflected just wide, cleared out to the neutral zone. That'll run about 20 seconds off for the Panthers. Mason is in retreat, and he's working behind his goal, trying to find an exit route. Plays this to Bender. Bender's pass rink wide. Nice catch here from Rasmussen, and everybody stays on side, but somehow Bender got confused, and he zagged instead of zigged, and lost possession nonetheless for the Lumberjacks. They working down to their own end. 40 seconds have elapsed in this power play. They're still yet to really gain the zone and gain possession. Nice play here by Griffin. He working against Landon Langenbrunner, and now we get a pass up to Bender, who gains the red line, trying to gain the blue line, which he does, and take it out wide. Cuts to the middle, and big bodies go a-flying right at the 1 minute mark of this power play. We get a stoppage of play.
You know, that was a smart play by Bender. They just weren't getting out of their zone for a good 20 seconds or so, and you just need to gain the zone and take it to the net. He got by the defenseman and decided, you know, I'm just going to go for it. I think that'll at least give him a little bit of momentum back.
Still 58 seconds to go in this power play. Stepping into the face-off circle. Sometimes coaches call this PP2. It's another power play unit. Baker is out. He's joined by Huta and Galatz. Back to Acers. Acers with the pass. He's kind of out top on this power play. And the fifth one out there is Anderson. Anderson working it down, takes a shot, gets deflected, and cleared out very nicely by Lee. This one goes all the way down to the end line, and now with just 40 seconds remaining in this man advantage for Cloquet, bringing it up ice is Acers. Acers to Anderson. Anderson brings this one wide, and throwing it out front, doesn't quite connect. Out to the blue line, out to the neutral zone, it's Acers. Still 20 seconds left in this power play, Brad, right at the last gasp here, 20 seconds left. Nice pass up ahead to Huta. Huta with a drop pass, and puck turns over and kicked out to the neutral zone by Lee. Very good penalty kill here from Lakeville North. I said the same about the first penalty from Cloquet right before it wound up in the back of the net, but looks like they're going to kill the full 2 minutes here. Very nice penalty kill by the Panthers. Puck up ahead off the stick of Galatz, and we'll see what they do to. Oh, tipped up ahead to Smith. Smith tries to throw this one over to Schneider, and Schneider's banging down low. He's the only gray jersey with 4 purple skaters and a purple goaltender, and he still almost got it through there.
Yeah, I think if that pass would have came a little bit sooner to Schneider, he would have had more opportunities to figure out, do I want to go left, right, do I want to just shoot right away? But the line's dangerous, and definitely the physical play is definitely ramped up on both sides.
Yeah, this is a great start to the season. High school hockey is back in full swing. It's going to be kind of a blitz now for the next 3 months, and it's great to see the teams back at it here. So, Brad, we're at the end of the second period. One of the features that I usually do when I announce a high school game is talk about the prominent graduates of the different schools that are participating. Doesn't look like we're going to get to that in the second period, so we'll save that for period 3. We've got some great between period player profiles for you guys to watch, thanks to our sponsors. And we'll get to those. The players today, Landon Langenbrunner, Spencer Schneider, and Thomas Porter. Spencer Schneider, I would want to mention, was interviewed by AJ Anello. Anello was expected to be a big part of this Lakeville North team this season, temporarily out with an ankle injury. He did a great job hosting that segment. And Langenbrunner and Thomas Porter, they interviewed each other, and Porter was expected to play hockey this year, but due to some concussions, he's actually taken on a role as the Lumberjacks team manager. So you won't want to go anywhere when this period ends. Stick around for the between period content. 3 great player profiles. Hope you enjoy those. 27 seconds remaining in period 2. 2-2 is your score. Both teams have had a 1-goal lead, but we are presently tied. Out to the neutral zone, it's Bender. Bender down into the corner. Works a backhand. I can't believe he got that shot off. Big save by Mayer.
Yeah, one thing with Bender, he really likes to get the puck to the net, and I think he looks at it and says, there's nothing I can't score with. So I love the mentality of the shooter.
Bender steps into the face-off circle. He's out there with John Baker and Moore. Moore's been very impressive from this distance. I'm really impressed with his speed. He can fly, and I think he's one of the players that Coach Shea from Cloquet was telling me about when he talked about the team speed. Folks, that's going to do it for the second period. Like I said, you don't want to go anywhere. We've got some good between-period content. We're tied at 2. Brad Atal here. I'm John Conley. We'll be right back in about 15 minutes for the exciting conclusion of today's season opener at the opener.
Hi, I'm Dennis Stornoff, and we're at the Buffalo House. It's been established since 1972 by my grandfather, and if you're ever in Cloquet or Duluth or Esco, swing by and get a good meal.
All right. Hey guys, Thomas Porter.
I'm Landon Langenbrenner.
And we're the CEC Jacks, and we are in the Buffalo House Junction, and we're going to ask Landon a couple of questions. All right, Landon, what are your 2 lies and a truth?
So I've eaten fried pig ears. I have 2 tattoos, and I can play the bagpipe.
All right. Well, I'm going to think about those, and we're going to come right back to them. Landon, let me ask you, what's your favorite place to vacation?
Well, probably favorite place I've been. I like California. Anywhere I could surf, something like that. But I really want to go to Morocco. Just.
Oh, really?
Desert.
Yeah. You like sandy places with the ocean?
I mean, I like a nice camel.
A nice camel?
A nice camel. Good.
Have you ever ridden one?
Not yet.
Not yet? Not yet. That's a good answer. Well, what's your favorite genre of music?
It really depends on the vibe. I could go with some Oasis from just chilling, but out on the boat, play some Revolution, something like that. Really hits the heart.
Could you sing any of those songs for us?
No.
No?
I couldn't do that.
Why not?
I just couldn't do it.
Just couldn't do it. No. All right. Well, how about what's your celebrity crush? Who is it?
I gotta go with Shakira.
Shakira, how come?
I that whole one name thing just really.
One name. Oh.
Like the. Like, and there's some others like Shar and stuff, but like Shakira, that's just.
Well, if you ever got the chance to meet her, what would you say to her?
I love you.
I love you.
No, that'd be weird.
A little bit. But what do you think would be your best pickup line for her? Shakira. That's good. All right. Well.
No, that'd be terrible.
Well, it's better than I love you, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, Landon, let me ask you, what are the best things about Cloquet girls?
I like the sass, the attitude. Yeah. It's really.
That's true.
It's refreshing.
Refreshing.
Yeah.
How come? Just.
It's always interesting.
It's always interesting. Gives you something new every single day.
Exactly.
All right. Well, we're gonna go to break, and we'll be right back.
From the top.
Okay. All right, guys. We're back at the Buffalo Junction with Landon Langenbrenner, and what you told me what your 2 lies and a truth were. What were those again?
Okay.
Fried pig ears.
I've eaten fried pig ears.
Yep.
I can play the bagpipe.
And
I have 2 tattoos.
2 tattoos. Well, I don't know if you're 18, but I'm gonna go with your truth as the bagpipes.
Nope.
No.
I've eaten fried pig ears.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How were they?
Not good.
Not good at all? You'd think they'd taste like chicken or something.
No, they were crunchy, and I had them with this it was in Iceland, and I had them with these it was some off-brand ranch, and
not the good stuff.
No, it was when I had a hard time eating them.
All right. Where'd you eat them? Where'd you eat them at?
In Iceland.
Iceland. Oh
Yeah.
wow. Okay. All right. Well, that'll do it here at the Buffalo House Junction in Cloquet. Thank you.
Minnesota's hockey culture is one of, if not the best in America, so it's only fitting that one of the best hockey camps in the world is right here in Nisswa.
This is Dan Germanson. Welcome to Minnesota Hockey Camps. We are gearing up for our 39th summer based in Nisswa, Minnesota in the beautiful Brainerd Lakes area. At MHC, there is a culture that breeds success. We offer resident and day camps for boys and girls of all ages from mites to NHL, 9 weeks throughout the summer.
We've had probably 700 NHLers come through here.
We have 32 hockey-related activities per week. Over the years, we have had close to 400 professional players come through our camp, including Division I, Stanley Cup, and Olympic champions.
I'm a little surprised that this camp is still here. To be honest with you, we thought it would be about a 20-year run, and it actually got better.
Visit our website at mnhockeycamps.com. Registration opens January 1st for 2019.
I'm here at Ames Arena, home of the Lakeville North Panthers, here with senior captain Spencer Schneider. Play a little game here. I need two lies and a truth.
All right. Number one is I once got my foot stuck in when I was 8 years old, and they had to cut a hole around the whole foot of me to get it out. My second one is when the Oklahoma City Thunder were in town playing the Minnesota Timberwolves, I was at Mystic Lake and Russell Westbrook sat down at my blackjack table. My third one is due to having Croatian ancestors, I once played on the ping pong team for Croatia internationally.
Sounds good. I'm gonna need some time to think about that. We'll come back to that. Favorite place, vacation place, or any place you have in mind?
I have to go with Las Vegas so I can gamble and see women.
Las Vegas?
Yeah.
What kind of women are you looking for?
We'll get into that later.
Oh, all right. How about music? What's like pre-game music? What do you like to listen to, like in the locker room with your boys?
I usually go with rap from groups from Atlanta who wear expensive jewelry.
You got an artist in mind?
I prefer Migos.
You kind of look like Quavo, I'm not gonna lie.
I do get that a lot.
How about celebrity crush?
I would have to go with Nicki Minaj because she's got a beautiful smile.
Yeah? Sounds good. And what about the best thing about Lakeville North girls?
Best thing about Lakeville North girls is in Lakeville, they're always better on the north side of town.
Oh, is that it? That's what I hear. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back.
The Minnesota Blizzard offer fall midget teams playing at the highest level for 15s, 16U, and 18U. For more information, please visit our website.
Hi, I'm AJ Nello here with Spencer Schneider here at Lakeville North Arena. He told me two lies and a truth. He told me he got his foot stuck in an ice hole, ping pong tournament international for Croatia, and gambling with Russell Westbrook. I'm going to have to say your truth was gambling with Russell Westbrook.
Nope.
It wasn't?
That did not happen.
Your foot got stuck.
That is it. That's the truth.
What happened?
I was walking, chasing my buddies, and they pulled a prank on me where they covered the top of the ice hole with slush. They told me to follow them, so I followed them. My foot went straight through. It was stuck for about 20 minutes.
Let's hope you're not that clumsy on the ice rink. All right, that's a wrap. Thank you for watching.
All right, guys, we're back. I'm going to be interviewing Thomas Porter. I'm Landon Langenbrenner. We're at the Buffalo House right now. It's not winter time yet, but the rink's out there. And Thomas, I have two questions for you. You've been doing this before?
Yes, sir.
Give it to me. Two lies and a truth.
My two lies and a truth. I have made 2 rap songs and 1 went silver. I fought a guy in practice over a girl, and my best friend's dad's uncle's cousin is The Rock Johnson. So,
Like Dwayne?
Dwayne The Rock Johnson, yes.
Like
Dwayne The Rock Johnson, yes.
Dwayne?
Yes.
Okay,
Dwayne.
all right. Give me a second to think about that one.
All right.
Favorite vacation spot?
Favorite vacation spot? Well, besides, being out here, on the Buff Complex.
This is not an ad.
Yeah, not an ad. But besides being out at the Buff, eating the delicious, good-priced food, I would probably have to say South Carolina, Georgetown. Georgetown's a smaller town, about 30 minutes outside of Charleston. I'm sorry, and I love that town so much. So that'd probably be my favorite place to vacation at.
All right. What besides making bangers? What's your favorite music?
My favorite music would probably have to be hip hop, rap, or like alternative. Like, have you ever heard of a band called The Waves?
Oh, actually, I haven't.
No? Okay, well, they're just an alternative band. Makes great music, but yeah, that'd probably be rap or alternative.
Awesome. All right. Well, celeb crush. Tell me about
Celebrity
her.
crush. Shoot. I don't know. That's a hard one, honestly. It'd probably have to be. I seriously don't know any.
Gotta get back to the storyline here. Okay, Thomas, your celebrity crush.
My celebrity crush would probably have to be Jennifer Aniston.
Yeah,
Absolutely. She's just a amazingly beautiful girl. Awesome in the TV show Friends. Loved that TV show. Loved her.
Friends.
Loved her.
Yes.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Mhm.
I don't think there's much else to be. All right. Best thing about Cloquet girls. Let's hear it.
Best thing about Cloquet girls? Probably the fact that they go to all of our sporting events. I love it when they're there. They're always chanting my name, but
Just your name?
Yeah, just my name. I always say, chant Landon's name or chant Gavin's name, but that's probably the best part is all the glory they give the hockey boys, and that or they all for some reason know how to chop down a few trees, but it's probably goes with the lumberjack name, I suppose.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for that. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Dan Stornoff, and we're at the Buffalo House. It's been established since 1972 by my grandfather, and if you're ever in Cloquet or Duluth or Esco, swing by and get a good meal.
Okay. All right, we're back here at the Buffalo House. Look at that view. Right, Thomas?
It's beautiful.
It's beautiful.
Truly.
This is not an ad. All right. So, Thomas, you told us before, 2 lies and a truth.
Yes, sir. And they made 2 rap songs. One went silver. I fought a guy at practice over a girl, and I performed at the Emsville. Those are my 2 lies and a truth. So, what one do you think was a truth?
Well, considering, pretty sure I produced those rap songs. I'm pretty sure they did not go silver. So I'm gonna have to go with. It's a tough one. You really make it hard. But you fought a guy at practice over.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. And I won, just so everybody knows. And then after that win, I went to the Buffalo House and had some boneless wings. So, yeah.
All right. Thank you, guys. It's Thomas Porter and Landon. Oh my God! I just started so hard.
Landon Langenbrunner.
All right. Thanks, guys. It's Landon Langenbrunner and Thomas Porter here.
Thank you very much.
And we are back. John Connolly here with Brad Atal. We are prepping for a great third period. It's tied 2-2.
You definitely think it through, and here we are 2-2, 17 minutes left in regulation. And the play is definitely a lot more physical. I think, if you want to get something going, you're going to have to crash the net to get some goals. I've always felt that that's where they all start, is the hungry, tenacious player is going to get them.
So Rasmussen scored with an assist to Galatz and Landon Langenbrunner. That made it 1-1. Then it was Acers. I don't know, it seemed like it was 20, 30 seconds later with assists to Landon Langenbrunner and Galatz. And then tying the game in the power play goal for Lakeville North. Munson, the assists were Gasparini and Griffin. And that's where we are right now, tied 2-2 as we enter the third period. Cloquet with a zone entry and a big shot there from Rasmussen. Steered aside by their goaltender, Mayer. They do gain the zone, however. We got a dignitary in the area. It is Tony from Youth Hockey Hub paying us a visit. Akers. Thank you. Yeah, we got that pronunciation corrected. Akers. All right. So one of the things that I do when I announce high school games is I go over some of the graduates of these fine institutions, let people know a little bit more about the communities. And it was tough. Cloquet is a smaller area, and it's actually 3 high schools. Esco High, Carleton High, and Cloquet High join up to have a high school hockey team. So that one's not as easy sometimes as maybe a big metro school with a lot of years. And Lakeville being a newer community, I know it's not, you can't go back 100 years. So most famous graduate, Brad, from Cloquet, the initials are JL. Who is the most prominent person to graduate from Cloquet High?
You got me.
Jessica Lange, the actress. So very, very famous. And when I do this, I try to go away from sports. Obviously, Jamie Langenbrunner, another famous player. He'll be our color commentator tomorrow for the Cloquet games. Captain of the 2010 Olympic team, names in the Stanley Cup twice. So Cloquet has 2 people that prominent from the community with initials JL. The other one that I'm going to throw out there, he was a chemist, and he got tasked in this bomb-making project. Wound up being a big part of the end of World War II, the Manhattan Project. Clarence Larson graduated from Cloquet, little known fact. So I'm going to go another person, honorable mention. She did not graduate, but she's from Cloquet. And if you want to go read a colorful Wikipedia page, I'd categorize her as maybe the Amanda Bynes of her generation or the Lindsay Lohan of her generation. Died very, very, very young. I don't know that she even reached 40 years old. But there's someone from Cloquet named Barbara Payton, and I'm not familiar with her, but like I said, go read her Wikipedia page, Barbara Payton. And then, not necessarily a graduate, but a little factoid here. The town of Esco got its name because in the early 1900s, at the corner of what is now Thompson Road and County Road 61, there was a store. And the man who owned the store was named Alex Esco, and people just referred to that as Esco's Corner. And eventually, Esco's Corner was the name of the township or the burg or whatever you want to call it, the hamlet. And then in 1935, they shortened it just to Esco. So that was once Esco's Corner, named for Alex Esco. And that's about it. So if you're watching and you want to help me out, I've got another Cloquet game tomorrow, and I'd like to have some in addition to these. If there's other notable people, I usually try to stay away from the sports, want people just that have graduated from these schools that have gone on to do something somewhat interesting. So you ready for Duluth-Denfeld? Oh, no, we don't have a Duluth-Denfeld game. Brad Atal went to Duluth-Denfeld. So Lakeville North was really tough, Brad. Bradley Ellingbo is a composer. I'm not familiar with the kind of music, but Bradley went to, and when I was looking for Lakeville, they could have gone to maybe Lakeville before the school split. Lakeville, could have been Lakeville South. I'm not even sure how old Bradley Ellingbo is. And the other one, I'm not sure that she graduated. We'll talk about her, and she's kind of an athlete. Well, she's certainly an athlete, but notable for things. We'll talk about that when we get back to the game after the next injury here. It's a big one. Shane Griffin, you heard. No,
it's Griffin.
It's Griffin. Yeah, today's interview with Schneider. Tomorrow's Griffin will be our between period player profile tomorrow. Griffin goes off, and that's a big one of the high-powered returning forwards for Lakeville North. So we'll keep an eye and see if 25 returns to the game. Face-off is won. Davidson rings the boards in front of the Cloquet bench. It's an opportunity to break out for Chandorf. They get out to the neutral zone, but it's onto the stick of Akers. Akers. Thank you for Tony coming by with that pronunciation guide correcting me. Maybe I misspelled it on the line chart I typed up, but it is pronounced Akers. Opportunity for Munson. Munson's been very impressive. Sophomore defender gets it to the blue line and it pops out to neutral. Kranz enters the zone 2-on-2. He's got Connick if he wants him. Kranz with a shot and a big save there by Carlson. Oh, and turning the puck over. The players were all exiting the zone for Cloquet, and somebody grabbed it from behind from Lakeville, managing to keep a little bit more pressure on. A little bit of stick whack in there. We'll see if some of that spirited play leads to some penalties here in the third period. One of the things you and I talked about between periods was just how high the activity level and the intensity level has really picked up in this game. Got some nice short passes there from Langenbrunner to Galatz to Rasmussen trying to connect down low. Nice poise down below the blue line and even down below the dots by those guys, but the last pass didn't quite connect and they did not get a shot off on goal. We're still tied with 15:15 to go in the third period. Mason rings the boards. That's that dark corner that I can't quite see from this angle. Steered aside by Carlson, and losing a stick on the forecheck going off is Santiago. He got down and did the hard work, and he was in a position to make a play, and then he dropped his stick, or it was knocked out of his hand.
I'm really waiting for Lakeville's next shift. I'm wondering who they're going to throw up on Griffin's position.
It's a good observation. Schneider, Smith, and Griffin have been very impressive throughout today's game. Griffin goes off with what's hopefully a temporary injury, and we'll see who they bring out with Schneider and Smith over on that right side. So which line is this? They have...
What's their top line?
Pearson and Gasparini are out.
Schneider and Smith.
Schneider and Smith, and that's what we're questioning is who's that other one. It looks like Connick. Connick is 23.
Yep.
Connick has joined them for this shift and could be for the remainder of the game if Griffin doesn't return. Passes out to Connick in the neutral zone. A little bit too far for him. He can't quite reel it in. Dumped in by Nordin. Cloquet unable to gain possession, and it's thrown out to the neutral zone. Picking it up, starting the 2-on-2 rush. Here comes Smith. Knocked off the puck and chipped out to the neutral zone. And good play here by Schneider to get it onto his stick. Nobody home, and it's stolen by Huta. His pass doesn't connect, and a little bit of back and forth here on this shift. Short pass, this one does connect to Schneider and bounces down to the end wall. Pardon me, but that's that one little spot that we can't see what's going on from this angle. There's a little banner up that prevents me from seeing that corner. Shot gets deflected by the defender Pearson down to the end wall, but a point blank shot there. You could see Kettler was trying to get the Goodwood on it, and he just wound up ticking the corner of the puck.
You know, good play by Gasparini getting back in the play. He's a very good skater. And 36 for the Lumberjacks. Sanich was driving hard to the net, and he had the positioning, and Gasparini caught the play, snuck in, and basically disrupted it right as the puck was getting ready to be shot.
So, Brad, I want to get to that last person from Lakeville. Well, I guess we'll do that on the next face-off. 13:32 remains. We are tied 2-2. Breakout opportunity. Munson ringing the boards, trying to get this one over to Levens. Levens takes it out to the neutral zone. Headmans it to Kranz. Kranz all the way over to Schandorf. Schandorf fights long, trying to get it. Oh, and they try a centering pass into the middle of the Levens. Levens gets a little bit more playing time now with Griffin going out. We get our answers to what, big hit there. That one's going to be at least a minor penalty. In youth hockey, that would be a check from behind and tack on 10 minutes as well. But this is a different rule book, not using the USA Hockey rule book. We'll see what the call is. Nonetheless, a Cloquet power play.
They're conversing, and they should be, to be honest.
Yeah, we'll see what this leads to. So, Tiffany is known for that blue box. Everybody that sees a blue box says, that's Tiffany. In the Twin Cities area, it's a lavenderish, purplish color. Box, everybody knows what it means. It's the same thing. It's Bachman's. Bachman's is the box that everybody recognizes. The Bachman family, evidently from Lakeville. Wiz Bachman, daughter of the family, 2 minutes is the call. She was a U.S. Olympic volleyball player. Bender goes off for Cloquet, giving us a Lakeville power play. Bender goes off for cross-checking. Schneider with a big shot there. He tried that wrister again. It got knocked down, and they're doing a great job. I think the tone from what I've seen, here's a team that can just kind of play you even throughout the game and hope for those power play opportunities. They look like they're very effective on the power play, even though it's early in the year. Out to the blue line, this is Munson, just a sophomore, plays it to Schneider. Schneider tips this one. Oh, it goes right through the hole in the stick. Shandorf was right there to bang that one home, and he just barely missed it. On the forecheck, skidding in hard is Baker. Baker goes down to the end wall, and it's getting a little bit out of control. He's got to watch that stick, or they could see a little 5-on-3 opportunity. Cloquet has killed half of the penalty. Pearson surveys the situation, and short pass up in front of the benches. Plays this one over to Munson. Munson up to Shandorf. Shandorf down to the end line. He goes down, but leaves the puck nicely for Schneider. Schneider trying to find a way, and he gets it back to Shandorf. Played back to the point to Pearson. Pearson, Shandorf. Shandorf, Munson. Munson, Schneider. Schneider, Pearson, touch pass, Munson, and oh, you could see Schneider was shooting to that top corner, Brad.
He likes that cookie jar, doesn't he?
Over to the Pearson on the far point, and still 20 seconds to go in this man advantage. Very impressive power play. A team that couldn't string together a pass all game, now all of a sudden it's tick, 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 tick. For the last 30 seconds of zone time, they've been very impressive once you get one of those purple jerseys off the ice.
Well, you have to. I mean, if you're not going to get them on a power play and get some continuity and some momentum, you're in trouble.
Gasparini's shot gets deflected. Nice play there from Moore, getting a stick on it. And Bender returns to the ice. We're back to full strength. Played back to the point. Gasparini, D-to-D pass. He hits DuPont. DuPont's shot gets through, but I think it hit the crossbar, or maybe it hit the limb out by the goal, but it looked like it got through a couple people on the way to the goal and somehow stayed out. 10 minutes, 40 seconds to go in this game. This one goes the length of the ice, and we're going to get an icing call.
The refs are definitely letting them play. Surprised that maybe a penalty or two more hasn't been called either way, but they're letting them play. So 2-2 game, and I think they just want them to decide it on the score sheet, even up.
So finalizing that thought from earlier, Wiz Bachman, I know she's from Lakeville. I think she went to high school there. She played Olympic volleyball level, now married to Hugh McCutcheon. And I think the Gophers have some volleyball this weekend and look to be one of the favorites leading into the Final Four about a month from now. I think that'll be in the Twin Cities, so we'll see if the volleyballers can close out the season. But that's about it that I had for Lakeville. So same thing, we had a game tomorrow with them. If anybody knows of any prominent people graduating from either Lakeville High or Lakeville North since the school split, would love to have them to add them to my list. And I try to stay away from the athletes. Everybody's pretty familiar with what prominent athletes went to the schools. 10 minutes to go in this game. We're still tied, and a nice zone entry here from Lakeville North. We get a stoppage of play.
You know, a little tidbit, you probably didn't know this, but Josh Lee from Lakeville, his father is an NHL referee, and his mom actually was a Canadian Olympic hockey player way back in the early 2000s.
That's pretty awesome. So it's father with playing at being in games at the highest level. Not necessarily playing, but he's officiating at the highest level. That's very, very impressive. Back to the action here. Rasmussen takes it along the boards, plays it over to Langenbrenner. Nobody's home, so he throws it out to neutral zone. It's a slow roller that dies in the corner. No icing, and it's a retreat. Davidson has to find a breakout path, and they work it from the wing to the center, and Kranz gains the red line, dumps it all the way down to the end wall. Baker in retreat, chips this one over in the direction of Rasmussen. Rasmussen, he's had a real good fall. He played in the Upper Midwest High School Elite League, did very well in that, and it's off to a good start this season with a goal already in the first game of the year. That shot goes just over the crossbar. Carlson was in pretty good position to make the save. Stretch pass doesn't quite connect, and getting up ahead of the play, he was offside. That's Akers that was the intended target for Rasmussen's pass.
The Minnesota Blizzard offer fall midget teams playing at the highest level for 15s, 16U, and 18U. For more information, please visit our website.
All right, 9 minutes, 10 seconds to go in this one, folks. We are tied. 2-2 is your score in case you just joined us. Lakeville North scored in the first minute and a half, 2 minutes of the game on a big wrister from Schneider. Then in the second period, Cloquet had 2 goals about a minute apart, making it 2-1. Those were scored by Akers and Rasmussen. And then Lakeville tying it up late in the second period with a power play goal coming from sophomore Munson. 2-2 is your score. That's where we stand right now. Cloquet looks like they're trying to get some players up in transition, trying to stretch out that neutral zone, Brad, trying to get those diagonal plays off to the weak side. Moore was up ahead of the play here. Last shift, it was Akers.
You know, it's also good to see that Lakeville's coaching staff, 8 minutes left in the third period, had confidence in that third set of D.
Yeah, it's impressive how both of these teams have gone pretty deep on the line charts early in the year. I announced a game last year for Eden Prairie. Eden Prairie is one of the mega associations in the Twin Cities. They had a game where they just suited up 3 forward lines. They didn't even dress a 4th line, and it's not uncommon that 4th line tends to be maybe some younger players. I know some high schools call it like a swing line. They might play JV and dress and get to play a period of varsity. But early on, both teams going pretty deep on the bench with a lot of confidence in the players like you mentioned. Shot in a save, it got knocked down right in front of the aforementioned Lee. Lee was Johnny on the spot there trying to get a stick on it, but cleared aside by the Cloquet defense before he could knock it home. Breakout, this is Rasmussen. Rasmussen tries to go outside in around the defender. Great play there from Gasparini to break it up. He dumps it back in, and both teams working on a line change. We'll have to keep an eye on whether or not they're able to complete those. Entering the zone, here comes Galatz. Galatz has landed Langenbrunner in the slot. Galatz with a shot, and this one steered aside by Mayer.
That was a great play by Gasparini, just waiting for the forward to cut back into the grain. He just stayed on his hips, and when he came back, he just met up with him.
How can Rasmussen be right back out? He just went to the bench. Now he's going off again. It's very interesting to see this player rotation at Cloquet right now. You can see they're trying to get Galatz, Langenbrunner, and Rasmussen out there, but they're also trying to get them some rest so they're effective when they're out there. And it looks like their operative plan right now are very, very short shifts here in the third period.
I like this Davidson for Lakeville's D. He's got great gap control, doesn't fall off the play too far, and he's played a good, solid game.
Lakeville, like I mentioned in the pregame, had sent a lot of sophomores to the state tournament last year. And right now, you can see they've got very, very good depth, particularly across that blue line, not just this year but beyond, as there are very few seniors. DuPont's a senior, but I think the rest are all sophomores and juniors. So that's going to be the hallmark of this team, good goaltending, strong defense, and that high-powered top line. If we're looking at them maybe playing at the upper reaches, you know, the top 5 teams in the state, the question is, are they going to be able to find more scoring than just the known returners like Schneider and Griffin? This one's up into the rafters, and I can't believe that didn't hit anything. It went through the girders, Brad, and somehow it came in on Meyer. You could see that one just a few feet over, getting lost up in the lights, and maybe sneaking past the goaltender.
Yeah, that was a tough one for the goalie to pick up on. You know, looking at Lakeville's top line, and they really haven't settled on a specific person yet for Griffin's position. They've kind of been running Schandorf and Konik in there.
Yeah, and you know, it's like an NFL season. You make all these plans. You have all year long waiting for what your team's going to be like. The coaches definitely had something in mind on the Cloquet side. The quarterback for Esco High School this year was Dane Stoynoff. He went out with an injury. He may not be able to return for several months, might miss the entire season. Then they had another player expected to play defense on this team, Thomas Porter. He's now the team manager after suffering another concussion during the the tryout process, and then go to the other side. And AJ Anello, who you saw between periods as our host at one of the player profiles, AJ Anello was expected to play for Lakeville North, and he rolled his ankle in school gym class. So all of a sudden, you're scraping, trying to figure out how do you put people in their places. And then during the game, Griffin goes out. So both teams are affected on paper from the depth, or in reality from the depth of what you might have seen on paper.
I always look at the players, and they're all dedicated. They work extremely hard in the off season as well as the season, and to see them go down with an injury at any point is really tough to see.
Face-off comes to the left of Mayer. We're now at 5 minutes, 10 seconds to go in this tie game. We were talking about it on the break, and if they are tied after the third period, we believe there'd be an 8-minute overtime session. It's not a tournament that needs a winner this game, so I don't think we'll see a shootout or anything, but a typical in-season high school game in Minnesota does have an overtime. Entering the zone is Smith, and his shot goes up off the glass. He peels back out to the high slot area, and Schneider's fighting a battle over on the far wall. 4:44 remaining in the third period. Akers. Pass to Rasmussen. Rasmussen hits a streaking Langenbrunner. Landon Langenbrunner just up over the crossbar. This one comes all the way back to the neutral zone. Kept in at the blue line, however. A nice play there by Galatz. Just a sophomore on the forecheck. Big clap bomber there, spinning from Rasmussen and steered aside nicely. Now we're bringing it up the other way. Stretch pass out to Schandorf. Schandorf getting down into that dark corner that I can't quite see, and cooler heads prevail. It winds up onto the stick of Langenbrunner, and now they're working. And now it's Galatz up here. Brad, I think it clearly was a coaching adjustment to really send that weak side wing outside the zone, create more space, and try to stretch the defenders here for Lakeville. It's been pretty effective so far for Cloquet.
Yeah, you have to stretch them. I mean, the ones that play with the time and space, that's the key of the game. You just want to utilize the space.
Nice pass here over on the far side to Huta. He skates in front of the Lakeville bench and runs into a little traffic there in the form of the linesman and loses the puck. This one goes up into the stands. We get a stoppage of play. Going to play you our last in-game commercial of the day, and then Brad and I will be back with the exciting 3:35 conclusion of today's third period.
Hi, this is Dan Germanson from Minnesota Hockey Camps. We are gearing up for our 39th summer and would love to have you be a part of 2019. Check out MinnesotaHockeyCamps.com for more information.
Today's game's free to watch thanks to sponsors like Minnesota Hockey Camps, the Minnesota Blizzard, Buffalo House, and several others we'll talk about throughout the weekend. So do us a favor if you want to continue to watch games like this, free to watch, and have a lot of production effort put into it. Support our sponsors. 3 minutes, 19 seconds to go in regulation. Pearson had a steam coming out of his own end and gets to the blue line, chips the puck up ahead. I think that's Levens. Takes a shot, bounces down to the end line, and Lakeville North has gained the zone. Brad's trying to show me there's a way I can get around the spot that my dark spot here. It's a funny little setup because of a banner that's up, an advertisement. I have trouble seeing one corner, and Brad correctly pointed out I just need to back up a little bit and look around the corner. So, Brad, it's been a great pace to this game. I think first period was feeling out of each other both ways mutually, but the second period had a little more pace, and third period's been just great. What do these two teams need to do to close it out and get the goal that's going to be the winner here?
Well, I always believe that the hungrier player, the one that's more tenacious, a lot of times it's like in tournament play. They're dirty, greasy goals. Those are the ones that score the game winners.
That's a good point. I coached against former NHL player Vinny Prospal, and I found his team very, very difficult to play against. And he said, even in the NHL, there aren't many pretty goals. And he just talked about getting pucks to the net, down below the dots, getting bodies to the net. You're looking for a tip. You're looking for a deflection off of maybe one of their skates. You're looking for a rebound if the goaltender can't quite get the cover. And that's a good point. So we'll look for that as this game winds down. 2 minutes, 39 seconds left in regulation. 2-2 is your score. Centering is Bender. He looks across, and he's staring eye to eye. I believe that's Kranz. Nope, it's Smith. Smith chips it up ahead and sending Cloquet's defender on retreat. Nordin gets down to the end line. No icing, and Nordin has to find a way out of the zone. Passes.
looks like Lakeville's trying to match up. They took the face off, won the draw, and then they basically switched it.
It's a good observation, and the older you get, the more the game resembles what you see on TV with the NHL and line matching, and little things are big things when you get to higher levels of play. Certainly Minnesota high school is a very, very high level of play, and now we're seeing more evidence of that. I know there was some confusion about jerseys. I'm not even sure who the home team is here with the last change, but interesting to watch. Now we get a timeout. Wowza.
Well, right before the face-off was about to start, both teams got their top lines out there. So my guess is they want to get them out, give them a quick rest, and then get them out for about the final 40 seconds. So give them probably 2 shifts in the final 2:21.
You're enjoying today's game, free to watch because of the advertising support we receive. Eden Hall Productions takes in barter, a wonderful opportunity for you to save on valuable goods and services. Check out EdenHallCo.com, click on store, and see how you can purchase some of these items.
So when we're done here, it's going to be after a post-game show, so don't go anywhere. The last goal is not when we're going to sign off. We're going to take a couple minutes to gather some thoughts here from our expert analyst, Brad Atal, in the booth with me, former college hockey player at Merrimack, NCAA 4-year career there. And you won't want to miss that. He's going to give us, after he collects his thoughts, the post-game show, some of the keys to victory for whichever team manages to pull this out, and then nominate players for the all-tournament team or all-opener team. I'll be announcing players that I think are worthy of mention at the end of our 4th game tomorrow night. So anyway, don't go anywhere. Stick around for the post-game show after we wrap up. We'll take a 2-minute break after that last goal, and Brad will come back with his final thoughts on today's game. Well, Brad, with a timeout like that, both teams can kind of set their lineup. Everybody's rested. We've got the top lines from both teams, but due to the injury, Griffin's no longer out here for Lakeville North. Who did they put out there on the right side? It looks like Schandorf is out with Smith and Schneider.
Yes, they seem to have settled.
Shot, Rasmussen. Oh, Landon Langenbrunner tried to get a shot. It didn't quite come off as hard as he wanted, but it wound up being a pass right onto Rasmussen, who made a nice little spin move there to get a shot off. And now he's got the puck down working Gretzky's office, and puck gets knocked down and cleared out to the neutral zone. This is Schandorf for Lakeville North. 1 minute 45 seconds to go in this one, regulation time. And Lakeville has gained the zone, but it's short-lived, however. This one pops out to the neutral zone. Gasparini dumps it back in. Regroup opportunity for the Lumberjacks out to the neutral zone. Pearson throws it in, and now it's Lakeville North on the forecheck. Big pass from Galatz off the stick of Langenbrunner, and unable to get there in time is Rasmussen. A little bit of back and forth in these tense late moments of this game. 2-2, 1 minute 15 seconds left in regulation.
Gasparini's got a good feel for the game.
Yeah, his relative, his grandfather, Gino Gasparini, longtime coach of the North Dakota Fighting Sioux at the time, now the Fighting Hawks. We're into the final minute. But if there is a genetic piece to understanding the game, I think it would make sense that the grandson of a prominent college coach would have a good hockey sense. Entering the zone 2-on-1, looking off, he had more. Baker took the shot instead, but a good 2-on-1 opportunity there. Baker had more, and the rebound just went right over his stick as it bounced off of Meyer's pads.
You know, John, the shooter made a real smart play on that. He shot far pad. Guy kicked it right out. The rebound was there. The winger was going straight to the net, so he just jumped over his stick, but it was the right play.
I'm going to piggyback on that. I think there's a huge difference between a 2-on-1 coming in and shooting and coming in on a 2-on-1 pausing, looking over at that partner. You can still shoot, and when you come in and shoot, the goaltender's squared up and you're going to have a hard time scoring. When you come in and you look over, you don't have to pass. That look freezes both the defender and the goalie. Looked like he did a good job. He coasted in, slowed down a little bit, bought some time. So not only did he shoot far pad like you're taught to get that, what I've heard called a pass off the pads, but he also kind of got everybody to freeze, which really opens up some shooting lanes. And he didn't score on this one, but I thought he made a nice play in two regards there as he entered the zone.
Yeah, he definitely had options there, and like you said, he paused, he kind of froze everyone, and he could have done 2 or 3 different things, and either one's right.
Yeah, I think, you teach kids in youth hockey, pass the puck, pass the puck. If you enter the zone 2-on-1 and you throw the puck over the other guy, both the defenseman and the goaltender can square up to him, and you haven't really improved your situation. What you're trying to do is use that 2-on-1 opportunity to create the 1-on-0, that clean look, and he did a very good job there. You don't always have to pass 2-on-1. You can come in and shoot. You can use the pads like you said, and I thought he did a good job. The way he hesitated, it really made both the defender and the goaltender wonder, I don't know, what's he going to do? Is he going to fire it? Is he going to look over and make that pass? So we get the timeout called the other way. Honestly, Brad, I don't even know who called the 2 timeouts in what order, but both teams have burned their timeout. We've got 38.1 seconds remaining. Face off in the Lakeville north end to the right of Mayer.
Well, I think Cloquet grabbed that one, especially with an offensive face-off. They wanted their top guns rested. They got who they want. Lakeville has who they want. Should be a good final 38 seconds.
So Mason and Nick Baker are the defenders out for Cloquet. They have Landon, Rasmussen, and Galatz as their forwards. Countering the other direction, it's still Schandorf in Griffin's place, out with Smith and Schneider on defense. Munson, who's a sophomore, he's with Pearson, who's a junior, and youth movement really in play here for Lakeville. They're very young across the blue line, and you can see the comfort level the coach has with returning players like Munson and Pearson out here at the end of the game. Turned over to Smith. Smith! Second time's not a charm. Third time is. He gets a shot off, and right at the last 5 seconds, Smith with a couple of cracks at it there, Brad. Wowza. Everybody kind of drew a breath and,
what's really changed the game from Lakeville's perspective is their defensemen are starting to move with the puck, as I mentioned early in the game.
So while they take a quick break, we're gonna run a quick spot, and then we'll be right back with the overtime session.
I know. You've thought about it. You've talked to some friends. You've even seen golf books like this, and you've said, I'd love to go take an Irish golf trip, but you've never gotten around to it. Or maybe you've been once and you'd like to go back. This is your opportunity. Just let me take care of the details. We'll go over summer 2019 and have a great time. Ireland is just a great place to visit. I've been there 5 times. I call it the 51st state. It's got a lot of things that are notable. Certainly the culture, the history, the scenery, and the golf. But what really separates it from other vacation destinations are the people. If you'd like to take an affordable 1-week trip, play some great golf, and really experience all that the Emerald Isle has to offer, just get in touch with me. We'll go through the planning stages together as the final details get nailed down. In summer of 2019, it's your opportunity to take advantage of this very affordable, reasonable golf trip and play outstanding world-class golf and enjoy what I think is good of vacation places you'll find anywhere in the world. For more information, just go to my website, which is EdenHallCo.com, click on tours, and to be included in upcoming communication as the final details are nailed down, just send me an email, john@EdenHallCo.com.
You can talk about Atlantis, how it's lost beneath the sea, and the grave of the...
So, Brad, the sun goes down, the stars come out. Who is going to step up and make the play to decide this one? We've got great goaltending both ways. We've got some very impressive young defenders on both teams. They might be able to break up something. And then we've got both teams that really have a lot of returning scoring, some high-powered offensive talent. So who's going to be the one that makes the play to end this one? 8 minutes goes on the board. We're going to play overtime.
I think you have to be deliberate, not get too cute, and if you're in the slot, you got to fire. You're never going to know if you're going to score if you don't shoot, right?
So they do switch ends, which means you're now defending the goal furthest from your bench, just like the second period. That can really cause some transition opportunities if you're not mindful of when to change, and if you try to change too if you do not try to change, you may end up getting burned with a late shift and getting tired. Icing the call early. This gives Cloquet a little zone time, just 11 seconds to have a lapse. We'll have a face-off down, and guess who's out there? It's Rasmussen, Landon, and Galatz one more time on defense. It looks like Akers and Nick Baker. Face-offs won by really nobody, eventually pulled out by Landon. Landon out front to Galatz. Galatz denied point-blank opportunity.
Wow, that was an outstanding save. Great push-off by the goalie getting over there. And you can't fault either of them. They both did the job, both offense and defense.
I was just thinking about that. I said, who's going to step up and make the play? So Langenbrunner makes the play, gets that pass over to Galatz. And, you think you've got a hero wearing purple. And then a super heroic effort there from Meyer to get over and make the save. And denied. Lakeville North keeps this one at 2-2, and now they're bringing it up the other direction. Here comes Schneider. Schneider gets around the defense, but he tries to shovel this one up in that top corner. That one didn't miss by much. He was working against Akers and kind of got the corner on him, Brad.
Yeah, you knew he wanted to go up high. He gets that puck elevated quickly. I really like him as a left winger. He's stays on his side. He's got a great nose for the net. He's extremely strong with his vision.
Yeah, it's not a surprise that he's already college committed. Bowling Green State University in Ohio. 30 games played last season, 26 goals, 21 assists, 47 points. I won't be surprised if Schneider puts up 60 this year. He's really poised to have a great senior year. Munson on retreat. Plays this one D-to-D over to Davidson. Davidson fakes the pass, works this one up in front of the benches. He hits Connick. Connick gains the blue line with a dump and sending in the forechecking team. We've got, it looks like Levens out there. Levens is getting a lot more playing time since Griffin went down. This one rings over in the direction of Connick on the right boards. He sends it back behind the goal line, and Davidson brings it up now in our direction. Out to the neutral zone. This is Kranz. Kranz with a shot. Big save here by Carlson. Kind of looked funny, Brad. He made the save, but he looked down between his legs like he didn't know if he got it. Moore chips this one ahead. John Baker in pursuit with Munson. Munson wraps this one in reverse over to Connick. Connick behind the goal. Working it up now is Pearson. This one's too many men?
Could have been.
What? I guess I don't know the rules, Brad.
Well,
we had a line change in process, and it hit the skate. I was expecting a whistle.
If it would have been a too many men, it would have been a funky play. I think they gave him the benefit of the doubt because he literally just jumped
Wasn't
on.
playing the
It was
puck.
a bang-bang. If he would have played it, there's no doubt they would have had to have called it.
That was an interesting one. As I mentioned at the beginning of this game, we've got a four-man crew, 2 referees, 2 linesmen. I am not used to seeing that in Minnesota high school regular season play. Puck is dropped, and now it's Rasmussen with a nice short pass to Langenbrunner. They've got a good chemistry as they're the top returning scorers for the Lumberjacks. Nice play here. That little hesitation move from Chandorf to pull the puck away from Rasmussen. Rasmussen over to Galatz. Galatz, and his shot goes just up high into the glass. 5:55 remaining in this fourth period.
Well, both teams going with 2 lines only at this point.
Oh, he got the shot off. It was a nice pass out to Landon. He got the shot off, but he didn't get as much of the puck as he would have liked, and it was a relatively easy save. But, boy, he was in a good spot there in that mid-slot area. Everybody changes their gamer tag so they can play Fortnite later, and they'll get everybody squared away here and have a face-off over to the left of goaltender Mayer. Mayer returning, as is Johnson. They split time last year. They're expected to split the games up this year. It's got to be nice having the luxury of not just 1 but 2 good goaltenders at the high school level.
Yeah, depth is always a key. I mean, obviously goalies don't go down like forwards and defensemen do, but you can never be hurt with depth.
So Galatz, Landon, and Rasmussen still out for the Lumberjacks. And a foot race here. Ennebeck gets there same time they whistle this one down, icing. It's going to come back, and finally we do get some fresh sets of legs in purple over the boards as they use this opportunity to replace that top line.
Well, a little bit of line juggling right now. Obviously, they're matching. Both teams trying to figure out where's their advantage coming from.
Senek is out there with Ketela and Huta. Played back. They get a little hand pass there. He had fallen down, and Huta pushed it a little bit. And I think at first they let it go because they didn't realize which team would come out with it. But once you saw Ketela take a stride, they whistled it down as a hand pass in the attacking zone. So brings the face-off down to the Cloquet end of the ice, and now Lakeville has gained the zone for the first time in this overtime period, although it wasn't maybe how you'd normally expect someone to gain the zone. Face-off circle. Who's that? Oh, it's 9. I thought there was 8. Kranz is in the face-off circle, but the draw is won, however, by the Lumberjacks. They try to get it up to Huta's side. He runs into some static at the blue line. It's dumped back in by Davidson. This one rings over to Ketela. Ketela gets bodied off the puck. Nice strong forecheck here from Lebens. Oh, nice little dipsy dangle move there from Senek, and he headmans the puck, and streaking up into the play is Mason with a shot just up over the goal. Mason, he's done this a few times, lines up as a defenseman, but he doesn't always stay there, Brad.
Smart play. I mean, be offensive if you can.
Yeah, he wants to be the one to be the hero, and with 4 minutes, 45 seconds remaining, it's a nice shot there from Schneider. Schneider sneaking in, and I'll even say snaking in the way he kind of slithered in there. Big snapper, got a shot off the pass and steered aside by Carlson. We get a stoppage play. Face-off comes to the left of Carlson.
You know, if you watch Schneider, he picks his spot when he hits the hole, and it's really smart because, like you said, he snakes in, and all of a sudden they're not looking for him, and then the puck comes to him, and bam, it's off his stick as quickly as it's on it.
Face-off circle. This is Bender. Bender squares up, looks across, and he's eye-to-eye with Smith. Smith wins the draw, and this one's back to Pearson, who dumps it down to the end wall. And opportunity here for, is that Anderson? Yes, Anderson. Anderson's a big sophomore. I looked down on my line chart. I couldn't believe somebody that size was just in 10th grade, which I think he is. Breaking it out, and a nice rink-wide pass in front of the benches. Bender hits Moore. Moore gains the zone, and right when he went to release that shot, Schandorf got a stick on there to tip it away. Got an alert on my phone. Nino Niederreiter just scored. Wild now trail 2-1. We've got a Gopher game tonight. Mac Motzko is going to play on this ice, but his father is going to be coaching the Gophers. I think they play Michigan State. And we've got some more high school games. Where is ground zero in the state of hockey this weekend? Brad, I'm going to say it's right here.
I love it. I love once the season really gets kicked off and everything's going.
The opener. A little guitar solo for Landon. He plays this one over to the defender, Nordine. Nordine loses the puck, however, along the wall, and it's a breakout opportunity for Lakeville. Schandorf's really been out a lot with this top line. I think maybe it took a shift to figure out who was going to get that spot now that Griffin's gone down, but Schandorf's been playing a bunch since that injury. This one's tipped, gathered up nicely by Anderson, and a little bit of back and forth this shift. Nobody's really had possession for long. Dumped in by Smith. First one to arrive is Anderson. Anderson, he went to ring a pass back to Rasmussen, but fanned on it, and this allows Lakeville North to gain the zone. Here comes Rasmussen. He catches a flat-footed defender, and he's just 1-on-3, but he managed to make a good move there and try to cut to the middle and take a big shot. He knocked off the puck eventually, and we're coming the other way. 3 minutes to go in overtime. 3 minutes to go, and here comes Schneider. Schneider for the win! Lakeville North. Spencer Schneider punctuates his second goal of the game. It's an OT winner. Lakeville North winners at the opener.
Surprised. I mean, he's Johnny on the spot when you need it, right? Outstanding goal, too. Took him wide, patient.
Yeah, he was very patient. You know, the goaltender was in position, But, a real good breakaway move there, and Schneider is the winner. We're going to take a quick break for 1 minute and be back with the post-game show. Brad, gather your thoughts. I want to hear your final thoughts when we come back from this 1 minute break.
Hockey fans, I hope you've enjoyed today's game and you've enjoyed Eden Hall Productions' presentation. We're not done yet. 12 games coming up at Hockey for Life between Christmas and New Year's, the top high school Christmas event in the state of hockey this winter. It's a wonderful opportunity for advertisers to reach a hockey-passionate and community-focused demographic. For more information, just check out my website. You can email me at john@edenhallco.com. Plenty of different packages available at all different price levels. Very, very affordable way to reach thousands of people. Collectively, the 16 Eden Hall Productions games in conjunction with Youth Hockey Hub will reach an audience of about 30,000 people.
So the game ends on an overtime game-winning goal. Spencer Schneider, his second of the game. The assists are credited to Gasparini, his second assist of the game, and Lee with an assist as well. That goal is Schneider from Gasparini and Lee. So let's kick it over. Post-game show, Brad Atal. What are your final thoughts? What were the keys to victory for Lakeville North? And what do you think these two teams will be thinking about before tomorrow's games?
It was really an interesting game because I thought Cloquet had the early momentum and started gaining some zone time, and lo and behold, Lakeville started catching their second wind in the second period and kind of started taking over and getting into a comfort level of the game. Once that happened, I think things just started happening. The game could have gone either way, as you well know, John. I didn't think Cloquet played all that bad. It was a sloppy first period by both teams, and they had some great zone time and some great puck movement. Both teams, they got a lot to look forward to this season.
Yeah, I think it was a great way to start the season. Both teams are probably feeling as though they're heading in the right direction. The first period, first game of the season, had some jitters. Maybe it wasn't as clean. Second, the pace picked up, the physicality picked up. Third period was a great back and forth period, no goals. And then some good scoring chances both ways in overtime before one of the state's top players ends up bearing the game winner. So we're going to, at the back end of this, announce the openers all-tournament team. What are some players that should be under consideration based on what you saw today?
Well, I think obviously you start at the top of the list, and the guy had 2 goals in the game winner in overtime. He certainly jumped out. I mean, Schneider's a great player. He's got great vision. He's got good feel for the game. I liked Lakeville's D too. Once they started to settle in, I thought their gap control is a lot better. Gasparini jumped out at me. Davidson did. I think they're going to be fine on defense. From Cloquet's standpoint, I thought both Langenbrunners were really fun to watch. I really like the defenseman Mason. I think he's an offensive D. He's got a great shot, and he's got the size that you could see him down the road at a higher level.
Yeah, there's no question he was impressive today. So you mentioned Lakeville defense. I think when you look at the season, you'd say, hey, team's in pretty good shape. They don't have to worry too much about this year. But when you look at the program as a whole and you go beyond this year, that's a group of a lot of sophomores, one junior. They're really well set for the foreseeable future with how impressive that group is. And it isn't a surprise. We talked to Coach Jennebeck before the game. He says, we got a lot of sophomore D that we're really comfortable with, and we think we're going to be awfully good. He said we have multiple kids that are capable of playing hockey beyond high school.
And that's what's good. When you get a coaching staff that shares that feeling that, we got a good group of guys. We're not just going to play 2 or 3 guys. We're going to try and play as many guys as we can and let them gain experience and mature as the season goes on. At the reality, you're playing for March, and you want your best hockey to be in the February-March time frame, so everyone's playing, or enough people are playing.
I think you bring up a good point. There's been seasons where the teams that win aren't necessarily playing very well during the season where you think they're going to win. You know, college basketballs, I think there's some obvious examples. Arizona won, I think, in '97. They finished 5th in the Pac-10. There was an unranked Syracuse team with Carmelo Anthony. They went on a tear at the end of the year, and I don't think they showed up ranked until middle of February, and they were NCAA champs. So we see it in basketball. It's not that unusual. We've seen it in high school hockey. There was a Wayzata team a couple years ago that was very impressive down the stretch. Grand Rapids won it. Wayzata won 3 years ago. Grand Rapids won 2 years ago. And you know, they were playing the best at the end of the year, but I don't think anyone saw that coming in the middle or the early going of the season. Maybe they were good, but you didn't know that they were going to be great. And you bring up a good point. So with that as a final thought, do you think that these two teams would be a surprise if you saw them maybe winning their Thursday game at the state tournament at the end of the year?
Well, you know, you look at Section 7 with Cloquet.
The hard part's getting there.
And it really is. I mean, that is a meat grinder section in itself. I think, though, Jill, you talked about losing a couple of your key players, like guys you really expected.
And maybe Stoyanov will be back.
Yeah, but senior leadership, and you always want that because you want good leaders, and the younger kids are going to feed off that. They're going to be fine. You know, obviously, if you're playing a tough regular season, you're obviously going to get better just naturally. Lakeville, you know, their section, they're always going to have Lakeville South that is always going to try and dethrone them. But I think Eigner and his coaching staff, they've been together long enough where they got a good feel for what it takes to mix and match and make adjustments on the fly. So they're always going to be there, as you well know.
Well, that's it from Bloomington Ice Garden. We'll be back in a couple hours with the 7 o'clock game. It's going to be St. Thomas Academy and defending state champions Minnetonka. I want to thank you guys for watching. I want to thank Brad Atal for joining me in the booth today. John Conley here signing off from Bloomington Ice Garden.